I finally understand the Dragon Ball hype. It might have only taken me years to do that, but better late than never. So I started watching the original Dragon Ball a few weeks back, and Dragon Ball has always been something that has floated about in my life. I've always known about it, it's hard not to, being one of the biggest animes in history. Like, simply existing, a lot of people can tell you who this character is. But I've never actually been someone who grew up on the series. I've never seen the show outside of any episodes that were just on TV, as I mainly focused on watching a lot more cartoons growing up. I was very much I'd rather watch Ed, Edd n Eddy instead of anime kid. I didn't even know if I could tell the difference. But my viewing experiences always brought me back to watching American cartoons. Anime in general just never clicked with me at a younger age. I mean, I played a handful of games like Budokai on my PlayStation, but even then, I think I only borrowed my copy from somebody else. There was also the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series on YouTube, so I did see their interpretation of what the series has been like, but that's all my Dragon Ball content has been. Interpretations of what the original series has provided, but never from the original source. Point is, my relationship with the series has been on an extremely surface level, but the way I've seen Dragon Ball affect the ones I love has been on an entirely new level. It's always been present in my life because my friends would just light up when they're speaking about it. I remember commuting back in the day with my friend Kyle, and while we were on the train, he always had a new episode of Dragon Ball Super running on his phone. He was making sure he wasn't going online to see any spoilers. He was making sure to see that episode quick. And I had my other friend Kevin talking about his experiences of watching it on the big screen, an experience he brings up time and time again as some of his fondest cinema moments. Like, Kevin is the type to sit you down and be like, you're watching this Broly fight right now. And the fight was as beautifully animated as you would expect, but the sheer aura to radiate from my friend upon sharing this clip, unforgettable. I even got really into Dragon Ball FighterZ, even learning some combos so I wasn't getting completely washed online. I ran Goku, Tien, and Cell, and these were always my go-to characters when I booted up. Then I've got another friend, Dean, who's just insane at this game. Like, so insane, he plays it really cool to get you on the sticks, talking some, we'll have some fun, don't worry. And then you see the pure evil release out of him when he's spanking you in the game, hitting you with the perfect combos. It's humbling to say the least. I know better than to get online and play Dragon Ball against him. But now we're in the present 2024, and the Dragon Ball FOMO has reached its absolute highest, as Sparking Zero, the newest video game in the Dragon Ball series, has released and everybody and their mother is on this game. The sheer joy that I've seen from so many of my friends playing this game, and I'm a big fan of just watching their clips of them just going insane. The attachment to these characters and this game is because they have absorbed the source material. They've seen their favorite characters get sent to hell and back, literally, and have seen what they are willing to do to surpass their own limits. Everything that I know about Dragon Ball has just been on the surface, but now I wanted to take the dive and start watching the series myself. As the same Kyle from the commuting story slid me his Crunchyroll login, and I've begun my viewing experience of Dragon Ball. No better place to start than at the very beginning, right? But before I get into it, let me know in the comments section below, who is your favorite Dragon Ball character? Looking at the roster from Sparking Zero, you can tell that there's someone here for everybody. Maybe you like the Cybermen. I know someone boots up this character every chance they get. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button, as I'm messing with a lot of anime clips in this video, and every like gives me the strength to avoid getting hit by copyright. So, Dragon Ball has become my dinner show. As it's called in the title itself, the dinner show is usually what I throw on when I'm about to chow down. Usually, it only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to kill whatever I'm eating, but the dinner show is the perfect way to get through a 22-minute series. You have to eat every day, and I'm able to shave off an episode or two at a time. And I remember looking at Adventure Time and thinking about it being over 100 episodes and thinking that would take so long to get through. So I turned it into my dinner show, and I finished it within no time at all. And now I'm yearning for Fiona and Cake Season 2. I imagine Dragon Ball will be the same for me. I'm also watching the show in English with English subtitles on. Truth be told, I'm getting up there in age where the subtitles help me make out some words that I might be missing, and having the voices being in Japanese, sometimes I'm just too tired to read. Plus, I think I just connect with the English voice acting way more, because it's the language I speak. I can relate. I want to mention the sound design though. So the sound effects of Dragon Ball have been taken by the internet and used in every which way. I've seen it used in meme videos, action sequences, documentaries, everything you could even imagine. There's something so specific about the sharpness of the Dragon Ball sounds. So to actually hear something like a capsule exploding in an episode in context, it took me a bit to get used to. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the sound from Dragon Ball. Wait, I'm watching Dragon Ball. Also, I haven't seen the whole thing yet, like I am actively watching. In fact, the last episode I saw was when Goku turned into an ape during the World Tournament. So Roshi hit him with the Kamehameha wave and Goku died? So yeah, I'm pretty early into the mix of it. Man, I sure hope Goku was okay. They really left me on a cliffhanger here. So I just wanted to share what I think of the show so far, which has been the first collection of the Dragon Balls and the World Tournament. And truth be told, I'm locked in. They got me. A big part of this experience is kinda seeing these characters devolve, as the versions I'm used to is the ones where they're all grown up. This is a show about Bulma as a teenager who wants to collect the titular Dragon Balls to grant a wish for a boyfriend. Knowing that this teenager is Bulma is pretty hilarious, considering she ends up having a family with Vegeta later on. Anyway, on her quest she meets Goku, a superhuman child with absolutely no social awareness, as he's been living in the woods for his entire life, as future episodes focus on these two teaming up to find the Dragon Balls. And shenanigans ensue, with Goku's powers beginning to unravel in every episode. In Bulma's eyes, she just hit a kid with this car, like jail time, but he gets right back up. And each episode just ups the stakes of what Goku is facing off against. And nobody told me that Dragon Ball was a comedy. There have been several instances where the jokes were just killing me, whether it be about human anatomy, workplace abuse, or all the different visual gags. I was not anticipating to be laughing this much, but there are moments of heart too, like finding out that Goku's father was killed when he was very young, and his grandfather's name is Gohan, in which he eventually names his firstborn son after. It's a feeling seeing it all unfold from the very beginning. Even the episode where he meets Chi-Chi for the first time. It's hard to imagine what it takes from then to get from here to here, but that's what this whole journey is about. Then there's Master Roshi. So I've always known he was a bit of a freak, and it's not something that Dragon Ball fans have really been hiding either, but to see Master Roshi in context, this man is an animal. There's like 40 instances in the 28 episodes I've seen so far where he needs to be put under the jail. I mean, it's an anime from the 80s. I knew there were going to be some off-color jokes from here and there, and it's all played off for jokes, but he's really just a brawling pedophile. I knew it was cooked when the episode came where, in order for Goku and Krillin to learn to train for Master Roshi, he tasked them with finding him a woman, and they're just about their martial arts. They don't ask any questions and just go on this hunt. But we all know what this man's about. But he also taught Goku how to do a Kamehameha wave, so life is really about duality. Then there's Yamcha. I was actually pretty surprised to see him show up so early. I was under the impression that he wasn't a very popular character, considering his most iconic moment is when he's dead, but he's actually one of my favorite characters in the show. He's the first one to actually put hands on Goku, hitting him so hard that he just goes flying through these structures. The first time I saw Goku get rocked, I popped off. Goku just seemed impossible to hit up until this moment, even if it didn't last that very long. He's also a massive dork, as regardless of his strength and stature, he's still scared of girls, wanting to collect the Dragon Balls so he can wish this fear away. Speaking of the Dragon Balls, all of my life I've seen the Dragon Balls used for fantastical things, like giving someone immortality or bringing people back from the dead. Things that magical artifact of this level should be used for. So to see at the very beginning it's mainly used for superficial stuff like this? In fact, the actual wish they make in the first season is for a pair of comfortable underwear. I mean, this wish was to prevent the actual wish of world domination from the Emperor, but their quick thinking decided to use all of this amazing power, the first on-screen appearance of the legendary dragon, all for a pair of undies. I love this. Although the absolute cream of the crop for me is Krillin. Krillin has always been my favorite character in Dragon Ball. As a kid, you could have told me this was Omi's light-skinned cousin, but there was always something about this guy that I gravitated towards. In this show, he functions as a rival and friend to Goku, and it really set the tone when they were doing their training. Like, I can see Goku being able to do all of these crazy exercises. He's literally a superhuman being, but to see Krillin, a regular mortal child, be able to keep up with him, insane work. Then there's this moment during the World Tournament where they have to take off their weights and now they're able to move so much faster. To see Krillin keep up at this level is so impressive. Iconic moments from this watch through is during his match with Bacterian. This dude smells so bad it has everybody in the arena shook, so when Krillin finally defeats him and he has to leave, everybody pops off because the smell is finally leaving too. I'm excited to see where Krillin and Goku's friendship goes from here. I feel like I'm seeing the start of a beautiful friendship. Or the end? I mean, the last episode I saw, Goku has literally been vaporized, and Krillin is so distraught calling out to his friend, the pain in his voice knowing that Goku is gone forever? Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine. It has been an experience and a half being able to see the beginnings of all of these characters, knowing that Dragon Ball is a massive global phenomenon and it all began here. And there's still so many other characters that I've known for years that I cannot wait to meet in these next upcoming episodes. Seeing the smaller pictures and seeing how they add up to what we know today. I'll be taking down episodes little by little as this is my dinner show, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video when I finish Dragon Ball if this one does well. So please, let me know if you have any advice as a new watcher of Dragon Ball. There's a lot of Dragon Ball material from the TV shows to the movies, so I want to make sure I get everything right. Regardless, I'm excited to keep taking this massive journey. My friends are already telling me about Dragon Ball Daima, and we'll get there someday, but I'm having fun exploring the roots for now. Dragon Ball just keeps getting better and better. I recently posted a video about my early experiences with Dragon Ball, as I'm currently watching through the series for the very first time. Dragon Ball has been a massive hit for my entire life, so I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about. And to my surprise, that video did incredibly well, especially for a new channel. So thank you so much for that. And a lot of people in the comments section were very much interested in the rest of my journey, requesting that I put out more videos documenting my experiences. I put out a community post asking how you guys wanted these videos, and going from arc to arc was selected as the winning option. I think this also helps me pace out my journey as well, as I'll go from one arc to the next and cover them along the way, meaning I'm not watching any more Dragon Ball until I finish this video right here. And trust me, I want to keep watching, but I have to go do my homework first. Since I've never seen the show before, I had to look up when the seasons would break up. So in the first video, I cover the first two arcs, Emperor Pilaf and the Tournament Saga. And for this one, we'll be diving into season 3 with the Red Ribbon Army. As once the tournament is over, Goku goes on his journey to hunt for his grandfather's Dragon Ball. He takes Bulma's Dragon Radar and is completely solo dolo for this season. And from my experience, this recent chunk of episodes is my absolute favorite so far. There's so many moments spread throughout this saga that continue to pull me into the world of Dragon Ball, and I'm ecstatic to talk about it. But before I get into it, let me know in the comments section below. Do you have a least favorite Dragon Ball character? Last video I asked you for your favorite, so let's go in the opposite direction of the spectrum. Since my character knowledge is so limited, I'm gonna go with Bacterian. One of his special moves is a crotch stench attack, and that's all I need to say. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button, as it helps out the channel big time for pushing out to potential new folk. Now let's take a look at the Red Ribbon Army arc. So I briefly mentioned my incredibly slim Dragon Ball history in the last video, talking about the types of Dragon Ball content that I have already consumed, and I completely forgot to mention that I did see the most recent Dragon Ball movie in theaters. I went with my baby cousin and we had an absolute blast, and I do remember that the Red Ribbon Army was the main bad guy for that film, so to see their origins was not something that I was expecting so soon. So something I noticed quickly about this series is the number of episodes for each season is all over the place. Season 1 was 13 episodes, Season 2 was 15 episodes, and now Season 3 is the most with 17 episodes. And I noticed that the trend continues with future seasons as well. I don't mind, just something that I thought was interesting to mention. A big part of this season that makes it stand out from previous seasons is the lack of the main cast. Goku has been traveling with Bulma and friends since the very beginning, and they all go their separate ways at the start of this new journey. This means Goku needs to tackle this brave new world all without his voice of reason. A lot of the comedy in the series stems from Goku's complete lack of social awareness, so this season had tons of moments full of laughs. The season itself is broken up into 2 parts. The first few episodes focus on clearing out some loose threads in the tournament saga, like checking back in on Nam, who has returned to his village after losing the tournament. We get an entire episode dedicated to Goku helping Nam restore water to his village, even bringing back Girin, who didn't get much screen time in the tournament arc. Eventually, Goku uses his Kamehameha wave to destroy the dam and bring back water to the village. Very much a bridge episode to bring us to the Pilaf and the Mysterious Army episode. Pilaf is back to his shenanigans of hunting down the Dragon Balls, but he's somewhat been reduced to a side villain this time around. The main bad guys this time around are the Red Ribbon Army, which is a full-blown militia focusing on hunting the Dragon Balls using any means necessary. Tons of strong men, military weaponry, and overall a much bigger threat than anything Goku has faced before. I do want to mention how much I enjoy the gradual increase in challenges Goku has to deal with. Like the first season was whatever monster of the week they had to face. Then the tournament arc brought some of the best competitive fighters in the world together. But now Goku has to face off against the military. There's something incredibly satisfying about watching Goku take down these grown men. Most of them are usually talking nonsense about how they're gonna squash him, only for the small child to humble these grown adults into submission. I feel like everyone has had this power fantasy at one point, where an individual has the strength to take down an entire army on their own. To see it on screen where Goku is just tearing through these guys like nothing, it's incredible. That's not to say that Goku doesn't get humbled sometimes in this season as well. I point to episode 32, The Flying Fortress Vanished, which might be one of my favorite episodes so far. A firefight has broken out between Emperor Pilaf and the Red Ribbon Army. While Emperor Pilaf has been reduced to a side character for now, he does show a lot of potential in his fight against the Red Ribbon Army, completely submerging his fortress under the ground so it can slowly take out their soldiers. It was pleasant to see him put in some work against other foes. There are also tons of fighter jets, guns, and explosions. It feels like a real battleground, all while Goku is right in the middle of all the fighting. The sequence where Goku gets blown off the side of the fortress, the animation on the fire that just swirls around him, Big fan. I think this really put the Red Ribbon Army on the map since it showed how much of a threat they really can be. Even Goku struggling to land in there during all of this violence. While Goku does eventually escape, his work isn't done. When he awakens from the knockout, he finds 2 capsules, one with a plane and another one with a robot. Goku then instructs the robot to fly the plane to the location of the Dragon Balls. The robot eventually freezes in the air due to the climate, eventually crashing the plane, leaving Goku to be found by a little girl named Suno. She eventually reveals that her village chief has been taken to the Muscle Tower, forcing all the men who work in the village to search for the Dragon Balls. Now Goku must clear through Muscle Tower and defeat the Red Ribbon Army on the inside. I want to quickly mention how much I adore Goku's coat in this. The purple coat, along with the orange pants, go so nicely with each other, and the hat is a solid touch. Overall, this entire fit is immaculate. I'm a huge fan. I want to dress like this winter, and a majority of the rest of the season takes place here at Muscle Tower. I want to mention that I am a huge fan of interior climbing stories, whether it be a tower or a castle or something. I've always been a fan of a story where the main protagonist needs to scale a building to reach the top, and along the way they might learn a thing or two about themselves. A common trope in fiction that I just love so much. One of my absolute favorites for this has got to be the 3rd Pokemon movie. Absolute banger if you've never seen it before. But in this case, Muscle Tower is like a boss rush for Goku. General White, who rests at the very top, is sending his minions to deal with Goku. Starting with Major Metallotron, which looks and functions exactly like a Terminator. He's a robot that looks like a human with robotic insides and super strength. Even the glasses and the voice lines for this character make it clear that this is a Terminator reference. Goku clears him out and then heads upstairs. I also like how Muscle Tower is drastically different on the inside. You wouldn't imagine finding an entire forest inside of this building during his battle with Ninja Murasaki. His whole battle with Murasaki is just Goku humbling him at every turn. Eventually, Murasaki uses a Shadow Clone type move. This killed me considering it's not just him using a special move, but rather he and his 4 brothers are working together to give off this illusion. Well, he got cooked too. Next up is the mysterious Android 8. Wait. There are other androids besides the one I know about? I genuinely had no idea Android showed up in the show this early with Android 8. He ends up being such a nice guy, not wanting to fight Goku since that's against what he believes in. And Android 8 ends up becoming Goku's companion for the next couple episodes. It is really such a warm feeling seeing how Android 8 is able to respond to Goku's kindness, since he's just been told what to do his entire life. Goku being the first person to show him some compassion got me. Next on the Muscle Tower Gauntlet of Pain is Booyan, a monster that lives on a hidden floor. This one was sick because this is one of the first few bosses that freeze up Goku. None of his attacks are working, even his iconic Kamehameha wave fails, just bounces right off of his belly. You have to remember, we saw this move break through a solid dam earlier this season, and now this move does nothing but tickle this man. But that's when we start to see the crafty part of Goku's fighting style. He thinks to break up this wall to let in the cold air, and the briskness ends up freezing his foe in place, leaving him open to one massive attack. It's cool to see Goku using his environment in this fight instead of just using his pure strength, defeating Booyan and heading up to General White for the final battle. Now this was another one that had me pretty impressed, as Booyan was the one with the superior strength. General White uses sneaky tactics to get the edge up here, like running up and grabbing Goku's tail, or by holding the village chief hostage at gunpoint. I love the little exchange they have about the village chief's life, where he's like, I would die for my village, you don't have to worry about me. And then a few seconds later, he's like, wait, no, let's not be too hasty, I want to live. Yeah, this show cracks me up sometimes. Eventually, General White takes a shot at Goku that looks fatal in front of Android 8, which up to this point has been pretty passive. But anger takes over and he attacks General White so hard he goes flying out of Muscle Tower. Honestly, an appropriate ending for this sequence. This man gets sent flying. Looks like Team Rocket is blasting off again. Goku has survived this shot, the village chief has been saved, and Muscle Tower is going down like the castles do in Super Mario World. With the Muscle Tower story over, Goku still doesn't have his Dragon Balls and the Dragon Radar is busted, so Goku decides to return to Bulma so she can fix it. These are the last few episodes of the season that focus on Goku locating Bulma in the big city. I think A Trip to the City might be one of my favorite episodes yet, because it places Goku in a densely populated location where he has no way of navigating it. Like, he's just looking around for Bulma off of vibes. No map, no address, no indication, just asking around to see if anybody knows her. Goku eventually ends up at a street fighting competition where the winner gets some prize money, and Goku just starts beating the brakes off this guy and just takes off with his money. Like, imagine being in this crowd and watching a little boy beat down this chiseled out man. Goku gets his prize money so he can take a cab, but then these guys try to rob him, and you can imagine how well that goes for them. He ends up going to a police officer to ask for help, and I like this guy because he has a Canadian accent in the English dub. Like, he's trying to make sure Goku isn't sus, as we come to find out that Bulma comes from a very wealthy family. The police officer stays around long enough to make sure he gets where he needs to. Eventually, Goku does end up finding Bulma and the rest of his friends, and it was really nice to see everyone after everything that took place in Muscle Tower. Now, Bulma is mad at Yamcha because all of the girls want him. I mean, Bulma, you should be proud of that fact. You got a man that everyone else wants all to yourself. But Yamcha at the same time isn't really doing much to hold it down for her, so much so that she ends up dumping him and joins Goku to relocate the Dragon Balls. And here's where we are with the Red Ribbon Army. It seems like they'll be around for a few more arcs considering this massive army does not go down easily. But this arc is definitely my favorite of the series so far. Seeing how Goku can hold himself on his own without the social awareness of Bulma was pretty fun. Also, seeing Goku take down military graded men leads to its sense of awesomeness. It just goes to show that Goku isn't allowing any form of oppressor to do what they want. If they have a problem with that, then they're gonna have to be fed his hands, and it's just as simple as that. The set pieces were also just so much grander this season. Like I said, I keep thinking about that air fight and all the different moving pieces to make that happen. It was also really nice to see Goku hanging out with other characters outside of the main cast, to see how others respond to his powers and his kindness outside of our main bunch. It does raise the question of what types of foes Goku will face off against next. I know eventually it gets to the levels where he's literally fighting off against gods, but to see how we get there from military fighting is what the climb is all about. This season shows Goku's resourcefulness, but also how he needs help from other people to complete his mission. And I'm excited to see Bulma make her return after her little break. It will be interesting to see where the Dragon Balls bring our heroes next, but this is what I thought of the Red Ribbon Army saga of Dragon Ball. My favorite so far, which is exciting because the show just keeps getting better and better. Looks like the General Blue saga is next, which feels like a continuation of the Red Ribbon storyline, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. Dragon Ball has kept its fans hooked for generations, and as I continue my first time journey through the series, I can completely understand why. I recently started my Dragon Ball viewing experience and shared it so far, and today we're going to be keeping that train going by heading into the next saga, General Blue of the Red Ribbon Army. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone in the comment section for all of your advice and information. It has been a message board of solid advice and viewing orders, all with their own bits of information. For example, I would not have known that the series was just airing episodes at the time, not releasing them in certain chunks of episodes or seasons, so when I break down seasons within the video, it isn't actually how people experienced the show back then. I think I'm going to keep covering the series in this way though, mainly because it's so I have a decent stopping point so I can collect all of my thoughts for the next video. Plus, I'm not watching episodes like every day, hence why these videos might be a bit apart from each other. I'm taking my time, so the journey might be a little bit slow for some. Also, another thing I want to quickly mention, there has been a beef between those recommending Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball Z Original. While I do enjoy the enthusiasm, I still have a bit to go before we even get there, but man, people were getting heated in this comment section. I will say I love the passion that you guys have, and the overwhelming amount of positivity you have for someone new watching the series. A majority of people have just been very kind, telling me to enjoy the ride, so I'm grateful to be sharing this experience with you guys. Honestly, has been some of my favorite videos to make out there. But let us keep the train rolling, this time tackling the General Blue saga of the Red Ribbon Army, covering 12 episodes, making this the shortest chunk of episodes yet. Don't let that fool you, because these 12 episodes make for such an entertaining arc. But before I get into it, let me know in the comment section below, do you have a favorite opening theme in the Dragon Ball series? Opening themes are a huge part of the series, so there's a lot of different options out there to choose from. I mean, I'm still only in Dragon Ball, like Goku can't even fly yet, and I know the heights the series can reach when it wants to be truly cinematic. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button. If this video can hit 200 likes on this video, I'll try and be faster with making the next one, I promise. Please, it's the holidays, have some mercy. But without further delay, here's what I thought of the General Blue saga. Picking up from our last adventures, Bulma has reunited with Goku as he continues his hunt for his grandfather's Dragon Ball. I want to say how happy I am that Bulma was thrown back into the mix for a little bit, mainly because Bulma acts somewhat as the vessel for the viewer's perspective, as she's the one freaking out about all the dangers Goku has to face around every corner. Heck, even in this first episode, she's being shot at by the Red Ribbon Army, running for her life from a barrage of bullets, just showing their aggression to fire at anyone they see. Turns out the closest Dragon Ball from their location is at the bottom of the sea, so deep that Goku is unable to dive to the bottom without drowning. And the rest of the season is focused on collecting the single Dragon Ball from the depths. I like how the season's story is only focused on a single Dragon Ball rather than the sum. In the first season, we were able to get all the Dragon Balls within the single season, where it felt more like Goku and his friends dealing with whatever monster of the week they had. This season is focused only on one Dragon Ball and focuses more on the locations and the characters itself. It's a single problem with the Dragon Ball being in the ocean, rather than a bunch of little problems being solved throughout. And a big part of this connected story has a lot to do with its titular villain, General Blue. So far, the Red Ribbon Army has been whatever Goku Goku has had to face. Other enemies and generals might appear for only a few minutes, only to be trumped by Goku. This cycle repeats for many episodes. But General Blue is the first reoccurring villain, and I think that made the story stronger for that, being another general under Commander Red. General Blue is a lot more expressive than his previous counterparts. He's incredibly jacked and will often take out his own men if it meant they were being incompetent. His facial expressions to the things around him would often kill me for how they were drawn. And even for being a brutal killing machine, he's a germ freak, spazzing out whenever he gets himself dirty. I also had a lot of people commenting on the fact that I'm watching the English dub. I even had some folks try to convince me to change into the Japanese dub. And truly, how can I do that when I get fantastic performances like General Blue? The voice acting on this guy is phenomenal for this character. I'm someone who grew up on the English dub of the Pokemon anime, and General Blue almost sounds exactly like James does from Team Rocket.
It must have been your personality.
I doubt you'll think I'm so funny when you're dead.
This voice being tied with his personality type makes him a real threat every scene he's been in. On top of being entertaining in a comedic sense, he's also very threatening. He has the special ability to lock eyes with someone, causing them to freeze in place, leaving them wide open for an attack. I remember the first time I saw him using this move against Krillin, I was punching the air. Krillin was feeding this man the work inside of the Pirate's Grotto, but then General Blue had to go and cheat by using this move. No wonder he's made such progress in his military. Fortunately, Goku shows up at the last second and saves the day. Also, I'm starting to learn what types of shots are my favorite in the show, and it's the ones where characters get hit so hard they go flying. I talked about this briefly when Yamcha kicked Goku so hard in the first season, but there's a moment where Bulma is trying to distract General Blue. She ends up accidentally distracting Goku, and Blue just absolutely rocks his socks off. He goes flying and all the loot from the chest comes flying out in slow motion. The short sequence we get of General Blue and Goku boxing is some of my favorites. I just absolutely adore how dynamic the camera is in this moment, following each punch of our fighters rapidly. Very neat sequence. There's also this moment where the entire underwater pirate cave is starting to collapse, like giant chunks of the roof are just falling apart, and Goku notices a mouse and throws it in his mouth as they're making their escape. Even for Goku, the life of this mouse is a valuable one, which I thought was a pretty nice touch. Even after the entire cave comes down, you think that would be the end of General Blue, only to find that he has survived and continues his hunt for the Dragon Balls. You gotta wonder what kind of payment plan they got this man on for him to be pursuing like this. He gotta be paid so well. Eventually following our heroes back to Kame House. I want to point out Bulma here for a second. A character who has faced so much danger with Goku since the beginning had a moment where she was like, you know what? This might be too much for me. She found out Goku had the Red Ribbon Army as ops, and she was like, hell no, I am out of here. Good luck though. Honestly, very real reaction to finding out an entire militia is about to take down one of your homies. They celebrate the recovery of the Dragon Balls, but only for a short while. Using his powers, General Blue controls these ropes to trap everyone inside of the house. He makes his escape with all of the Dragon Balls, and it isn't until launch appears that Goku can pursue him. Goku, on top of the Nimbus, participates in a high-speed chase after General Blue. Going so far off the beaten path, General Blue has no idea where he's landed, which is when we arrive in Penguin Village. So I did notice that even the narrator during this period had no idea where we were, where even the writing of the show would define Penguin Village as an entirely new place. Upon landing in this new location, we meet a girl named Aurelie.
Huh? Oh, hi.
Now, I've seen this character before for years. I've always considered her to be a part of the Dragon Ball mythos, no problem. I even pronounced her name Errol until I saw how it was heard recently. Funny enough, I've been saying Errol my whole life. It's Aurelie. Whatever. Obviously, a big part of her design to me is the hat with the wings on it with her name. Funny enough, I had a lot of people thinking that that's where I got my hat with the wings from. Now, that's actually from Super Mario 64. Love that game. Regardless, sometimes when I watch Dragon Ball, I occasionally send a Snapchat to my friend Kevin on whatever episode I'm watching. He's like the Dragon Ball fiend in my life, so I like to keep him updated. And he saw that I got to this one and gave me a general rundown of who these characters are, because I would not have known just by looking at the show. I would have just assumed that this was another Dragon Ball character that I have not met yet. Turns out, Aurelie is from a series called Dr. Slump, which was made before Dragon Ball and was one of Akira Toriyama's earliest works. This is an entirely different series made by the same person. So to see a character from his previous works make it into his newer series at the time is a cool behind the scenes moment that I would not have known without Kevin. So thank you for that. I'm just imagining from a creator's perspective how cool it is to integrate one of your older characters into your newer property. Not even just the character though, but the entire setting of Penguin Island. There's a sequence where General Blue is dealing with some police officers and they're shook that the Red Ribbon Army has made it to their lands, and Blue is such a character, he's just messing with the cops, doing things like letting them handcuff him and then immediately shattering the cuffs, or duffing this random car to put fear into their hearts. It's a cool little run around this area, and Aurelie is not just here for a fun little cameo either. She plays a vital role as Goku continues his hunt for General Blue and the Dragon Balls. Upon encountering General Blue, he uses his nasty vision freezing attack on Goku again, knocking him to the ground with one massive punch. Understanding that Goku is in danger, the doctor sends Aurelie to handle the situation, and she just completely rocks him without even thinking about it. Goku, who is struggling with the battle at hand, needs to be saved by Rayleigh, who uses her revealed super strength to just fold him, hitting him so hard that he gets flying out of the scene. Next time we see General Blue, he's calling from a phone booth, being hit so far he landed where the pyramids are. There's even a moment where Goku looks at Rayleigh and is like, wow, you're so strong, you should enter the fighting tournament. I try and imagine watching this scene without knowing anything about the Dr. Slump storyline. Like if I just went into this with just Dragon Ball lore, this purple-haired child just looked like one of the strongest in the series. I would have had no idea that she was an android from an entirely different series. Still, I think this is such a neat way to incorporate your older characters and give them some new life. It doesn't happen that much when it comes to bigger budget projects like this. The closest I can think of is with Cartoon Network's OKKO, where OKKO was the one that was made into a series by Ian JQ. But Ian also had a series called RPG World starring a character that looks a lot like Cloud Strife. This character is then introduced in OKKO, bringing them to an entirely new audience. Creatively, I love when people are allowed to do stuff like this. It's kind of like a form of never forgetting where you came from. After General Blue is defeated, the Doctor offers to fix Goku's Dragon Radar, so he can continue the search for his grandfather's Dragon Ball. And that's where we conclude our story for today. If anything, this is the first saga where I feel like we get a really enjoyable villain. I know he might feel like a villain of the week since he's already been disposed of, but I'm a big fan of how he refused to be taken down so easily like those before him, even putting Goku and his friends in more pickles than they can count. Next up is Season 5, the Commander Red Saga. Considering he's been built as the main threat for a few seasons now, it will be interesting to see how he stacks up against Goku. And it would be the last chunk of the Red Ribbon story for now. I'm still having a blast, I haven't been scared away just yet, but let me know what you guys think about this saga so far. Any standout moments, thoughts on General Blue and the Red Ribbon Army? I appreciate your support on these videos and we'll keep the journey moving forward. I was not ready for Dragon Ball's first incredible villain. As I progressed through my first time walkthrough of the series, something really special happened during this chunk of episodes. As I've been enjoying everything I've seen up to this point, the introduction of our heroes, the tournament saga, and the Red Ribbon Army. The conclusion of the Red Ribbon Army might have changed me as a Dragon Ball fan, as someone who was fairly eager when it came time to watch a new episode, but that transformed into the need, the absolute desire, the need to know what happens next. I was finally breaking my normal one episode a day pace as the episodes started getting so juicy I had to know what happened next. And it turns out these are my favorite episodes of Dragon Ball yet. Labeled as the Commander Red Saga, these 11 chunks of episodes are just so good. I really had to sit on it to form my thoughts, and it all begins with the introduction of Dragon Ball's grandest villain yet. What I thought was going to be another flavor of the week turned out to be a tale of perseverance, patience, and what it means to grow stronger. And I cannot wait to yap about it, let me tell you. But before I get into it, let me know in the comment section below, do you have a favorite Dragon Ball villain? Someone who pops up on the screen and is just here to ruin everybody's day that you just love to see? I spoke about General Blue in my most recent video, about how his presence really improved the pace of Dragon Ball for me. But he's been quickly dethroned, and we're gonna talk about that right now. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button. This part of the video is corporate mandated, and if I don't add it, they're gonna hit my family with a spirit bomb, so please help, thanks. This is the Commander Red Saga of the Red Ribbon Army. This is another one of those first episodes that acts as a transition for the rest of the arc. This time, Goku arrives in the land of Korin in search for the Dragon Ball. We stumble upon another Red Ribbon Army goon, Commander Yellow, causing up some trouble. Goku arrives and saves Upa, who is a local to the area. Upon reuniting with his father, Goku is finally able to locate his grandfather's Dragon Ball. On the other hand, we get more information on Captain Blue. I actually thought that last episode where he was in the phone booth was gonna be the end of it. Like, he got hit so hard by Aurelia that he literally got written off the show. But nope, he's still standing strong and returns back to the base with the Dragon Radar. But Commander Red is not satisfied with his performance. To offer him a chance at redemption, they are testing him with a battle against this brand new character that they have hired, Mercenary Tao. I mean, obviously my man Blue is gonna put some work in. He has this move that allows him to freeze his enemies in place. Like, how is he gonna possibly lose this?
Excuse me, what was that?
What? They killed my goat? This man didn't even last a few more episodes before they took him off the map? Oh my god, how could they do this to me? I look doofy talking about how much I like this character, only for this man to be taken out to the dome piece? I know this was necessary for them to set up the next threat, but damn, my man didn't even stand a chance. I think about how Goku really struggled with Captain Blue for a little bit, but here comes this random new man taking him out within just a few seconds. This is one of the hardest introductions to a villain I have ever seen. For starters, this outfit? Are you like kidding me? I love the theme of characters who absolutely busted down while wearing pink. And for him to have Kill You on his back, he's saying everything he needs to do. Mercenary Tao has been such a game changer in the scaling of Dragon Ball. Taking Captain Blue off the map like this, in such a rapid session, it really set the stage of what's to come. And the pace doesn't really let up from this moment. Every moment in each episode pushes the plot forward and it really ramps it up. Not only in the conflict, but how silly Dragon Ball can be. Let's talk about this moment here with the pillar.
Boom. Bop. Pow.
The fact that he's completely unbothered by dismantling this. The fact that he throws it at such a force it lands exactly where Goku is. What kind of math could you be possibly doing in real time? And they're talking about transporting him with a plane. He's like, that won't be necessary, and then flings He says, I'm sorry. He says that won't be necessary and then flings himself into the cosmos. I think it was this moment right here where I was like, damn, this dude is really on another level. He arrives in an explosive fashion and is just throwing hands with everybody. Daddy-O right here gets taken out within only a few minutes of screen time, impaled by his own spear and wiped out in front of his own son, and Tao doesn't even break a sweat. And this is when I was like, oh, Goku is not gonna let that stand. And I was absolutely right. This is gonna be like all the other fights before that. It might be a bit challenging for Goku, but it would still probably be really close. Like, how bad could it be? My boy is getting cooked. This wasn't even remotely close. The skill gap between them two seems so massive. This man takes a Kamehameha wave right to the face, gets all of his clothes melted off. He responds with sass and then a murder ray, to the point where the battle ends and it seems like Goku is just dead, fortunately being saved by his grandfather's Dragon Ball covering his heart. This was a pretty nice moment that came full circle, as the Dragon Ball that Goku has been hunting for this entire time ends up being the thing that saves his life. After getting super destroyed, Goku begins his climb of Korin Tower, as the legend states that there's this magical water that will boost your strength drastically. Although the climb is long and dangerous. Sitting with the feeling of shame of losing that battle and failing to defend his friend's father, Goku begins his ascent to the top. And I want to say, I think this entire moral might be the best thing I got out of Dragon Ball. It's a lesson that I got from this that I've never really gotten from any other media. So Goku makes it to the top and now he needs to catch Korin in order to drink the water. Korin won't give Goku the water to grab unless he grabs it from him. Several days pass and each day Goku is getting closer to grabbing the water. There's even a moment where Goku contemplates about taking the water while Korin is in his sleep, but he decides against it as it would be a shortcut and not the right way to handle it. Eventually Goku does improve enough that he's able to grab the magical water, only to find that the water didn't have any special properties at all, but rather Goku had improved so much in an attempt to grab the water that he ended up getting the properties of said magical water within him all along. Goku worked hard and got his reward because he put the work in. It isn't until his rematch with Tao that we see how much he's actually improved. The match is so much closer this time around. This time looking like an entirely different Goku. He's spanking this man, so much so that Tao's like, damn, I might need this water too. He aborts the fight and scales the tower. Upon arrival, he takes the water through threats, but the water being nothing special, he loses the special growth that came with the journey. Korin even sets him up on the way down by giving him a cloud so he can't train on his way down, the cloud even then dropping him several feet below to the ground. Tao got all the work out without any of the buffs because he tried to take a shortcut. Now Tao is getting cooked the second time trying to take Goku out with a grenade, only for Goku to kick it right back, ending our time with this baddie. Everything about this exchange is what I got to appreciate about Dragon Ball. The idea that your hard work will pay off, no shortcuts, no skipping the work itself. It even got to a point where I started applying this to my everyday life. A little background, I like to bike in my free time. It's a lot of fun, plus it's great exercise. But recently I was biking up a hill and I wanted to get off the bike so bad. The hill was super steep and I was going up it, but I know the ride down once I get to the top is gonna be so nice. I wanted to stop and I wanted to walk the rest of the way, but then I thought to myself, what would Goku do? And it actually lit a fire inside of me. I started biking harder than ever before. The music started playing a bit louder. I was standing up, putting everything I could into pedaling. The only thing on my mind was making it to the horizon. And before I knew it, I was at the top of the hill enjoying my ride down because I earned it. Goku gave me that little extra push to be stronger because I know that's something he would do. Anyway, just something recent in my life that I wanted to share. With Tao out of the way, Goku is in pursuit of the final Dragon Balls in an attempt to bring back his friend's father, leading him directly to the headquarters of the Red Ribbon Army. And these last episodes are just Goku dismantling this entire operation piece by piece. He's literally zooming through these highly secure buildings and making them look like toys. I also want to mention our other characters for a moment, as Bulma finds out that Goku is heading right to the main base, and she immediately assembles everyone by letting them know that Goku is in trouble. And nobody asked any questions, they just spring into action to help out their homie. Even if it means a life or death operation, Bulma brought everyone together to assist. I mean, they do show up once the party is over, but we'll get to that. Commander Red is on his last line line of defenses, and he's trying to escape with the Dragon Balls, only for it to be revealed that he's wanted the Dragon Ball so he can wish himself to be taller, going through all of this trouble, all of this bloodshed and murder because he wants to add a few inches to his height. The older I get, the more I can see this being a much more reasonable wish. I don't know, some people treat short people like secondhand citizens, so I totally get the sentiment around this one, even though it's a little aggressive. Staff Officer Black ends up taking out Red because he's like, oh my god, that's so stupid. By the way, I did not know that this character's name is Staff Officer Black. I've talked about this before, it's an old anime, I see stuff like this all the time, but they called the one black dude black. I mean, they did color coordinate all of the other commanders though. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty funny. His final clash with Goku is also pretty enjoyable, to the point where he's ready to blow up the entire army just to get to Goku, only for Goku to kick the rocket back, saving everyone. When Goku lunges into the mech's chest and he screams out, "This is for all of my friends," and tears right through him, what a satisfying moment. And it concludes with our friends arriving at the last moment. There's a reunion and they all plan to work together to find the final Dragon Ball. This felt like one of those bunch of episodes that if the series ended right here, I would be pretty satisfied. After everything that happened with the Red Ribbon Army, it was such a good feeling seeing Goku finally bring them down. No more head operations, and it looks like it's finally time to head into the future. There's a moment at the end where everyone is talking about Goku and how strong, maybe even potentially invincible he is. Everyone is looking at him for inspiration, with Krillin and Yamcha wanting to follow him in aspirations of improving. And isn't that why we all watch the series? To see how far the best of the best can go to get to the top, to see how much we can endure before we are forced to break our limits. Also, I'm a little less than halfway done with the show. I know there's still so much to go, but I'm already nostalgic about this path I've taken. I'm excited to see what other lessons Goku and friends can teach me on the path. We're heading into the Fortune Teller Baba saga, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I do want to say there is a moment during the Korin Tower episodes where there's these vases that show images of the past, present, and future, and one of them shows an image of a old lady floating there. I'm not sure if this is Fortune Teller Baba, but if it is, that's some dope foreshadowing right there. But this is definitely my favorite bit of Dragon Ball so far. I'm sorry if these videos have been taking me a little bit to get done. My life has been pretty crazy behind the scenes, so it's been harder to get these videos done, but we will try and keep the ball rolling. Also, I cannot wait to keep watching more episodes. I told myself no more Dragon Ball until I finish a video, but here we are, video finished, so I cannot wait to boot up some more. What did you think of the Red Ribbon Army? I know a lot of people were fairly excited for me to finish this one. It's a good feeling when the comment section is saying stuff like, the best is yet to come. You mean it gets better than Mr. Kill You right here? I cannot wait. Is the Fortune Teller Baba saga the most underrated Dragon Ball arc? Another video means another Dragon Ball arc we'll be exploring, as I'm watching the series for the very first time, sharing my impressions of what I think. Spoilers, I'm having a fantastic time. Last time we focused on the last bit of the Red Ribbon Army, and we're introduced to one of Dragon Ball's most iconic villains. But with the Red Ribbon Army story over, it's time for Goku to find his final Dragon Ball, as it's needed to bring back his friend's dead father. Although the path isn't easy, as Roshi suggests that Goku searches for the help of Fortune Teller Baba, as by using her psychic ability, she'll be able to locate the Dragon Ball without the radar. Although there are only two ways for Baba's services to be available. You either pay a large sum of cash, or fight some of her strongest soldiers. Does this small child look like he carries his wallet? You already know where this is going. While the stakes for this arc are a bit lower than the last one, there are tons of moments that really made this one stick out. In fact, I was not expecting so many supernatural elements to take place. From ghouls to vampires to mummies, Goku has been pulled right into Castlevania. I was not expecting to see Goku have to fight against the strongest of the underworld. This might be the most fun I've had with the Dragon Ball arc yet, mainly because of how strange it gets in the material. But before I get into it, let me know in the comment section below, who is your favorite character in the main cast that isn't Goku? I've already talked about Krillin being one of my favorites, but honestly, after the Fortune Teller Baba saga, Yamcha might be growing on me, but we'll be saving that for the video. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button. Helps out the channel big time, and make sure Goku doesn't get his soul stolen or something. Without further delay, this is why the Fortune Teller Baba saga is awesome. So if Dragon Ball had a supernatural set of episodes, it would be these. Perfect if you wanted to put something on TV during Halloween. I don't know what I was expecting with what Goku had to face next, but the supernatural, I was very pleasantly surprised. I also wasn't anticipating for it to turn into another fighting-based adventure, where in order to pay for Baba's services, they need to participate in these King of the Hill type battles, where one person fights until they can't fight any longer. First, Krillin, my mans, what's good with you? You were trained by Master Roshi for a decent length of time, and you out here getting beaten by Man-Bat? My man's got taken out by his blood getting sucked out of the top of his bald head, losing so much blood and being forced to retreat from the battle. I knew this moment was for comedy purposes, but damn, I really wanted to see how Krillin threw some hands. Eliminated. Next in their place, being forced to fight, is Puar and Upa. I love how they're using all of these Vampire Weekend shenanigans to get the edge, like when Upa turns into a cross sign, like I damn near lost it. I was not ready to see Christianity make an appearance in my Dragon Ball. Does this make Jesus canon to the Dragon Ball universe? Anyway, next up is Yamcha versus the Invisible Man. Now, Yamcha is the real MVP in this arc because he understands his placement in the story. Goku's super eager to get into the action, but Yamcha looks at him like, you can spank everybody here, I have no doubt about that. Just let me fight for a few and get my licks in. And honestly, that's super hard of him. But yeah, Yamcha's another one getting absolutely slapped up. Unable to pinpoint his opponent's location, he's getting hit at every corner. Now, when I started this journey, a lot of people mentioned that Akira Toriyama has toilet humor, while a lot of his jokes are pretty risque for comedic effect. And I've seen that happen a few times in the show already, with Bulma being the butt of all these jokes. But this right here might be a new favorite. So, because Yamcha is getting clapped in this battle, no way in sight to turn this fight around. Krillin had an idea to bring Bulma back to the battlefield, which by the way, she wanted nothing to do with this new adventure with everything that happened with the Red Ribbon Army, but it's seeming like an emergency situation. So Goku does what Krillin says and flies to the Nimbus to go get Bulma. Now, the show isn't telling the audience why they need Bulma, so we're just going along with it. Goku ends up locating her and Roshi and brings them to the Fortune Teller's arena. Now, I wonder what they needed Bulma for.
What is going on and why have I been dragged into the middle of it?
Hey, now!
No way, no way, no! This is disturbing on like 50 different levels. Krillin, you're a freak for two reasons. One, you came up with this insane plan to begin with, even with Bulma not even being around. And second, you had to get the angles right for all of that to work the way it did. The exact position and velocity to hit that angle of blood exactly where it needed to go. Krillin might be the true super freak of all the freaks in the series. I mean, after that match is over, we start making our way deeper into Baba's domain, where you can see skull decors and candles all over the wall. The location really sells the spookiness of the situation. It looks like we walked into our own special little dungeon. The big surprise here is the next fighting arena, being this thin platform made of a stone tongue, located high above toxic water labeled as the toilet. I enjoy how the limited verticality of the stage made for some interesting battles. There aren't a lot of places to run, so they really need to focus on the center stage here. Yamcha's next battle is against a mummy that comes through a sarcophagus. In this entire fight, the mummy is outpacing him almost 3-1. But this is where he really started to show his gangster. Even though he was getting cooked, he was not going down without a proper fight. The mummy is holding him above the toilet, ready to toss him in, offering Yamcha a chance to submit. Then he goes and does this.
Do you give up? Answer me!
This is when Yamcha leveled up to GOAT status for me, because regardless of how much he was going to lose this fight, he boxed. He didn't run no matter how the odds were stacked against him, even embracing death like a champion, refusing to admit defeat. Definitely a massive standout moment for Yamcha for me. Fortunately, Goku uses the power pole to catch him real quick, and with Yamcha out of the running, it's time for Goku to be the anchor and bring it all back. This line right here when he steps out the mouth,
We can start anytime you want.
the way he's stretching to get ready, the way he's amped to avenge his friend for his loss, this mummy is about to get rocked. And the mummy knows that, as he begins to shake in his boots just off of Goku's straight aura. He's like, forget this, we start boxing.
Baba, did I win the match?
Yes, you won the match.
As he's holding this probably several hundred-pound dead man with one hand. What a savage. Battle number 4 is against this devil guy right here, and it's a bit of the same. Another strong man anticipating Goku will be weak because he's a small child. The one standout moment for this battle has to be the Devil Might Beam, which is this dude's special ability, causing malice and corruption to grow inside of someone's heart until they explode. He uses this move on Goku to no effect, implying there's not a single negative thought inside of Goku's heart. How wholesome.
Sorry about your ceiling, Baba.
Now it's time for the last of Baba's warriors, which has been this old guy who's been lingering around throughout the other matches. In fact, he was also in one of the visions during the Korin's Tower episode. I had only noticed Baba when it first appeared, and I just completely ignored this guy. Although when the match begins, it looks like he and Goku are on the same terms, throwing blow after blow, maintaining each other's speed and aggression, getting to a point where the old man uses the Kamehameha wave against Goku, shocking everyone in the arena, because this is something only Roshi and Goku know how to do. Goku, being the slick Rick that he is, dodges the attack and sends his own wave while he's falling from the sky. The blast knocks out the old man, seeming like the match is over, only for him to get up from the ground and grab Goku's tail. With this being Goku's only weakness, he starts brutally slamming him into the ground. It's at this point that Roshi makes the connection between the Kamehameha wave, knowing Goku's moves, and the weakness of his tail. This old man is revealed to be Goku's grandfather, the same grandfather Goku loved so much that he constantly went on the hunt for his 4-star Dragon Ball. I mean, that's one way to show love, I guess. Are we sure Goku isn't Hispanic? He slams him so much that Goku's tail eventually gets ripped right off of him. Turns out his grandfather was here to help him remove his tail after all, which has been his only real weakness at this point. But as Gohan reveals more information about Goku, he starts to put the pieces together. And you could see Goku unravel from this fierce warrior to this small child. He comes to realize that his long deceased grandfather is standing right in front of him. Gohan removes his mask, and that's when the waterworks start to flow. To see Goku show that much excitement and joy with reuniting with his lost grandfather is something that choked me up the first time I saw it. It's a reminder that no matter how fierce and dangerous Goku is, he's still just a kid.
There, now stop your crying.
I looked everywhere for you and I couldn't find you.
Goku, I've never seen him like this.
Gohan is here on a limited time visa to help out Goku on his quest, and with that being the final challenger, Goku and friends have defeated Baba's challenge, and can now search for the final Dragon Ball. I was not anticipating to see Pilaf and friends make a return, as the final Dragon Ball is located with them, and it's kept inside of this box that made it impossible to be found from the Dragon Radar. But now with Baba's fortune, Goku is in pursuit of the final ball, and he quickly disposes of them to grab it. Finally, after all this time, Goku has successfully collected all of the Dragon Balls. While en route to resurrect Upa's father, we get this montage of the two traveling, doing a celebratory lap of all the hard work they've put in. It's great to see these two having fun while exploring the world around them. They deserve it after everything they've been through. Afterward, the Eternal Dragon is summoned and they have completed their long quest. Reunited Upa with his father after everything that happened with Mercenary Tao. We get a touching moment between the two, and Goku finally feels he made up for his mistake. There's a moment after the wish is over where all the Dragon Balls shoot off in various directions, and I think it's so cool that Goku jumped and grabbed his grandfather's Dragon Ball so he wouldn't have to go on that super long hunt to find it again. Goku returns back to Roshi, but it looks like Roshi has taught him everything he possibly could. Goku has surpassed any level that Roshi could offer him. So for the next teaching tool, he tells Goku to explore the world until the next martial arts tournament, which the next one will be held in 3 years. I honestly wasn't expecting a time skip so massive, but here we are. And the next few episodes are Goku going from town to town to help out its people. There's a battle with an evil gourd, actual demons from hell, and even an upset stomach. But the real treat is who we meet before the next tournament. So I was not expecting to meet Chaozu and Tien just yet. These are characters I often chose when playing Dragon Ball fighting games, but to see they're actually scammers in this show is pretty hilarious. Working together with this monster to steal money from local townsfolk, with Tien and Chaozu stepping in to save the town for the reward money. Goku, coming to understand their little scam, tries to stop it, but Tien turns the townsfolk against Goku, blaming those two for working together. It's pretty dope to see Goku painted like a bad guy in moments like these, where we can see the influence these new characters can have on him, which makes the next future chunk of episodes so exciting to watch. Last we leave Goku, he's currently swimming to the location of the next tournament saga. He ended up missing his flight due to unforeseen circumstances, and is channeling his inner Michael Phelps to make the trip, concluding our time with the Fortune Teller Baba saga. While this might not be my favorite so far, it was still incredibly enjoyable. I loved all the supernatural elements introduced, from vampires to mummies, to characters being pulled from the afterlife to box with their grandchildren. This arc had so much heart, building on the relationships of our characters, and showing us how they can work together to accomplish their goals. And Fortune Teller Baba as a character is a treat every scene she's in. I just love how she's drawn, usually fairly expressive for a person dipping into the dark magic. I am amped to see what happens next, because this only looks like the beginning of Tien and Chaozu's role in the series. Considering the next saga is literally named after him, I'm sure we're gonna have some pretty sick moments. How Tien turns ordinary into extraordinary. As we continue our watch through of Dragon Ball for the first time, we have finally reached the Tien Shenhan saga. So my experience with Tien is almost exclusive to Dragon Ball fighters. I chose Goku, Cell, and Tien being my final selection of the three, usually being the character I needed to get behind certain blocks and anchor the rest of the team. There's something incredibly satisfying about watching him rapidly jab through his enemies, so when he finally showed up in Dragon Ball, I was amped to see how this character translates into the show. To find that he was someone committing fraud against townsfolk for some money, it was going to be interesting to see what they do with this character. Considering this entire next saga was named after him, I knew I was ready to unlock the secrets of Tien. And I know I say this again and again, but this might be my new favorite arc. In fact, Tien could be my new favorite character, from all the feats that he produces in the saga to how he's a threat to everyone he encounters, but also how we see the character change from a scammer to a true part of the team, one that you end up rooting for towards the end. Dragon Ball really does get better the more you watch it. This is the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, and there's so much to love. But before I get into it, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Dragon Ball content.
I've been looking forward to fighting you.
Who, me? Nah, I'm not in the tournament, I'm just trying to set up my intro.
You can't fool me, I sense your power.
I promise I'm leaving, just give me 1 second. Oh, come on, you gonna do me like that? It has been 3 years since all of our heroes were in the same spot, everyone's looking well rested and eager to show off their stuff in the tournament. For this video, I'm going to be going match by match giving my thoughts on each. There's so many top tier moments throughout the season that I had to mention, sprinkled in with that juicy layer of drama that keeps pulling me back in. Starting with the preliminaries. I know this is supposed to be filler until we get into the top 8, and it was honestly a treat to see how everyone makes their way through the bracket. It's honestly just them flexing on their opponents for the most part, pretty disrespectfully if you ask me. Through all of this, we get Tien and Chaozu antagonizing our heroes through each match. Mainly Yamcha, who is ready to square up at a moment's notice. He is not letting all the BS coming out of Tien's mouth slide. But Roshi keeps them in line, telling them to save it for the matches. Chaozu himself is another demon, calling Krillin a midget out of nowhere considering he's been pretty mute the entire time. First thing to come out of his mouth is an insane insult. I love it. And oh my god, they brought back Nam. You remember how he was in the last tournament and he wanted to bring water back to his village? Now he's entering because he just loves to fight. It's so nice to see him again.
Nom!
Introduce Nam for him to get smoked and set up Tien, really putting that feeling of revenge into the viewer's perspective. I will say a lot of the strengths for this season are the small callbacks to older episodes. There are tons of plot points that get built on that were introduced before, and either get more lore or just a few extra scenes to help fill them out. For example, it being revealed that the Crane Hermit, Tien's master, used to be friends with Roshi. The tea is getting scalding, waiting to pour over once we start our top 8. I do like the small detail of Chaozu using his psychic abilities to rig the seeding of the top 8. While it's not exactly cheating since they have to fight it out, it did give Tien a chance to space out their matches to save Goku for the finale. Fortunately, we don't have to wait too long to see Tien and Yamcha in the ring. While these two were throwing the most insults at each other, the real fear comes into play whenever Goku respects his opponent. Strictly from a fighting standpoint, Goku knows that Tien wasn't gonna be easy. The reason I like these tournament arcs so much is because of the animation. You can tell they put a lot of effort and time into these as both are putting their whole backs into the fight. It's a visual treat that makes them feel evenly matched. Like, look at the movement when Yamcha uses his Wolf Fang fist. I was in awe. It's looking like Yamcha's got this in the bag, but Tien is just full of surprises. This entire slew of episodes is just him showing off new trick after trick, including this defensive move that leaves Yamcha running out of options. Yamcha, while pressed, does something that happens a lot during this arc, but each time it appears different than the last. Yamcha starts charging a Kamehameha wave, Goku and Roshi's signature move. Even Roshi's like, damn, you should not be using that right now. But Yamcha locks it in and sends the blast flying, only for Tien to reflect it right back where it came from. The shot of the crowd being blown back from that reflection was it for me. I knew everyone in this tournament is out for that W no matter the cost. Although the wave leaves Yamcha wide open for Tien to send him back into the earth. Looking like he already won the match, Tien takes it a step farther by landing on Yamcha's leg, breaking it in the process. No need to do that but to flex on him for all that nonsense he was talking earlier. Yamcha, now out of the tournament, will spend the rest of it in a hospital bed, eliminated. This is only the beginning of Tien's warpath. Another thing I really enjoyed about this tournament is the pacing. It really feels like a roller coaster, where you get an episode full of action and lore pushing our characters forward, but you also get calmer episodes while full of action or more so focused on telling a funny story, like Jackie Chun versus the Wolfman, a character that is now frozen as a wolf because Roshi ended up destroying the moon in an older episode, making it impossible for him to turn back. Wolfman isn't even here for the glory, he just wants to get his revenge on Jackie, to the point of getting eliminated for bringing out a knife. To solve this issue, Jackie calls Krillin into the arena to help with this problem by hypnotizing the Wolfman into believing that Krillin's dome piece is actually the moon. Funny enough, this actually works and the wolf turns back into a man. Krillin cannot catch a break for being bald at all. So excited to be back to normal, Man leaves the tournament and Jackie Chun is declared the winner. I'm often reminded how silly this show can get. I love it. The second of Master Shen's pupils, Chaozu, is against Baldy McMoonboy. Right as the match starts, Chaozu reveals that he can fly. I like how he's moving around as if someone is using a mouse cursor to just drag him about. Krillin, getting cooked, learns that he can get around Chaozu using mind games. Considering the small child cannot tell his lefts from his rights, what an interesting way to counter him. I appreciate Krillin for that one. Chaozu, having enough, returns back into the air and rains down the Dodon Ray. This moment gives Goku a flashback to Mercenary Tao, the last character we saw using this move. This is where it's revealed to Tien that Goku has actually defeated Mercenary Tao, not believing him at first, saying that the feat would be nearly impossible for him to do. It's also revealed that Mercenary Tao and Master Shen were brothers, so Shen himself is now finding out that his brother is gone by the hands of Roshi's pupil. The stakes are immediately raised as the tournament is no longer about glory, but revenge. This is when I started to sit up. Back to the match, Krillin is having a hard time keeping away from the Dodon Ray. So to counter, he ends up charging a Kamehameha wave of his own. Even Roshi thinks it's a horrible idea that could lead to Krillin's demise, but Krillin locks it in and gets behind Chaozu and hits him with a direct blast. I love the little sound it makes when he's recovering from that hit. It sounds like one of those futuristic cars from an old cartoon that has run out of gas. Chaozu, with one final trick up his sleeves, is using his psychic abilities to mess with Krillin's stomach. Making it difficult for him to move, Krillin decides to pelt him with math questions? Enough to distort his focus, leaving him open for the match-winning blow. What a silly way to win the fight, but this whole match just felt like shenanigans. Overall, I'm pretty grateful that Krillin came out victorious and advanced to the next round. This is another one of those pace breakers, considering the last episode was full of so much information, as Goku needs to fight against a world-renowned boxer known as Pamput. Although Pamput's manager tries to remove Goku out of the competition after seeing how strong he is. He does this by trying to get Goku as far away from the arena as possible so he misses his match. And this is when they finally give Launch something to do. So for the most part, she's just been here to give a few violent one-liners, not really adding much to the team for their efforts up until this very episode, where she's in hot pursuit of the men who took Goku away. The entire chase sequence is such a treat because she's finally putting in some real work. I'm glad they gave her an episode to pop off a little bit. Goku returns back to the arena and defeats Pamput after just a few hits. This was really a tournament episode disguised as a launch episode. I dig it. The winner of the last tournament versus Tien, who is on a rampage. I knew this fight was gonna be a banger, because like all of the creative things they've been doing with the Kamehameha wave, Tien is constantly pulling out new moves to our surprise. The sequence where Jackie pulls off that leg throw, the way the footage is slowed down a bit so you don't miss a moment of what happens, how he shifts his weight and gets under him to make it happen, there's something so special about seeing fights broken down like this. Jackie gets kicked into a wall after Tien's incredible read of his movements, and he does that thing where he takes off his jacket. You know, if a piece of clothing is thrown into the air, we're about to see something crazy.
Boo.
Another kudos to the animation team because they are beating the brakes off of each other. Blow after blow, no one giving in, tanking every hit they receive. This was the moment when I started standing and cheering like I was in the crowd myself. I do want to take a quick moment to swing back to Yamcha. Not really with how he's doing in the hospital, but rather the environment during this moment. There's something that tickles my brain about how the curtains are moving in the background. While the room is still like Yamcha, the winds of hope still blows behind him as he cheers for his friend's victory. I just thought this was a comforting moment. Back to the fight, we get to see one of Tien's signature moves, the Solar Flare. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this move caused seizures in young children when it first came out. The way that I have to slow down the footage so I don't attempt to hurt anybody, but the Solar Flare blinds all on the screen, leaving Jackie wide open. And Jackie is able to eat that attack but gets up and starts getting into Tien's head, talking about how he's chosen the wrong path and still has the chance to do the right thing, aiming right for his poor decision making and poking at his morals throughout the fight, beginning the transition from Tien being a foe into a potential friend. Tien, attempting to get Jackie's words out of his head, uses the Kamehameha wave, just as a way to flex, saying that he doesn't need help from anyone to get stronger. This wave was enough to show Jackie that his words did make a crack. Hoping that his words would eventually reach Tien, Jackie ends up walking right out of the arena, surrendering the match, causing Tien to win and advance to the finals. The audience is flabbergasted by his decision, but it was enough to plant the seeds of doubt inside of Tien's heart, as Jackie's surrender wasn't because he was weak, but strong enough to step down for a greater cause. Man, these episodes are so good, I cannot. The balance between the animation quality and the lore goes hand in hand for this next match. For starters, this immediately felt like a setup for Krillin. Like, obviously, it's going to be Tien versus Goku in the final match, so this was one of those where we knew how the fight was gonna go. Fortunately, that information didn't make the fight any less enjoyable. I'm also a big fan of stories where two best friends finally have to fight against each other. One of my favorites growing up was Yugi versus Joey back in the Duelist Kingdom episodes. There's a moment when Tien confronts Roshi about his disguise, pressing him on why he thinks his words would work on him. And Roshi continues to egg him about how Tien is next in line to defend the world, as Roshi has gotten older, making it more difficult to do it himself. Tien continues to push back on this ideology with a pretty convincing argument.
Wrong! I want to be a killer! I like it!
Go get him, killer.
That win was a paid actor to help Roshi aura farm, to be honest. Back at the fight, these two are throwing hands! I do like the repeated use of Krillin's head being an advantage in battle, as he used the light from the sun to block Goku's vision for a bit to get a hit in. Krillin isn't making it easier either. He ends up using that move from Super Mario World where he inflates himself, giving him a moment to recompose himself and dodge Goku's attack. I love how they're going back and forth, and Krillin is just really not being weak in this. There's also a moment where Goku uses the Kamehameha wave as a rocket to propel himself into Krillin. He starts charging it when he's running at him. I'm telling you, this move has gotten so many points for me this saga in all the creative and different ways it's been used. Krillin himself uses the move on Goku, with Goku taunting him about not using it, only for Krillin to use it as a distraction so he can go behind Goku and grab his tail, as we've seen Goku lose all of his abilities once his tail is grabbed by his foes. It is a bit of a dirty trick on Krillin's behalf, but I totally get it. It's the World Martial Arts Tournament. You're going to use all of your opponent's weaknesses against them to win. Too bad for Krillin, Goku has leveled up in this time skip, as he spent the last 3 years training his tail so it can no longer be used against him. It was a real treat to see Goku grinding with the monkeys to make his tail an asset instead of a weakness. This is when things get intense, as Krillin starts to fight a bit dirtier to get the edge, stating how he didn't come this far to lose. And this is when Goku had finally had enough, jumping around the arena in rapid succession, being unseen by the untrained eye. Speaking of eyes, Tien is the only one that's able to see what happens. Goku is moving so fast that he lands several hits onto Krillin, knocking him out of the ring. The audience has no idea what happened, but Tien saw every single blow. Impressed by his speed, a bit of fear sets in as Goku reveals his true pace. With Krillin's elimination, it is finally time for the final match, Goku versus Tien Shenhan. A match of this proportion is to be enjoyed by everyone, including Yamcha. He uses this as an opportunity to break out of the hospital to not miss a moment. Both characters have been built up so much up to this point, but we as the viewer have seen so much of Goku's strength, although only a sliver of what Tien has to offer. The match starts with Tien just beating the brakes off of Goku. He's looking like he can't keep up and is just getting duffed at every turn. Tien uses his volleyball technique. Hey, I used this one in Dragon Ball FighterZ. I know that move. Awesome. But damn, is my goat actually a fraud right now? What is Goku doing?
I guess it would be safe from here on out if I use my full strength.
If I heard my opponent say this after I just wailed on him, I'm leaving, because whatever Goku's about to do is gonna hurt. Goku leaves and just start beating his ass. Goku said, "Stop playing with me." When he did that double fake out with the after effect move, I screamed so hard I probably got a noise complaint. Then there was the solar flare attack that worked out so well for Tien last time, this time being trumped by Goku using sunglasses to block out the rays. Tien did not let that slide though, immediately rocking Goku and shattering the glasses. The entire fight they are going blow for blow. It became tough to call who was actually gonna win. That is, until we get some interference from the crowd. With the pressure of his master, Chaozu is using his psychic abilities to mess with Goku, causing him to tense up with pain, leaving him open to be attacked by Tien. Goku is just getting spanked right now, almost getting hit with the ring out, and once again using the Kamehameha wave to put himself back into the ring. That move is really the MVP this season. Launch gets wind of what's happening and tries to hit Chaozu with a hammer, only for Shen to stop the hammer and sending Launch flying into a wall. She really tried her best, and that's all I could ask for. This is when Tien realizes what's happening and really cemented himself as my new GOAT, telling Chaozu to stop with his interfering. As he doesn't want to win like this, it goes against his own honor. Master Shen attempts to get involved in the situation, only for him to be blasted out of the arena by Roshi before he can do anything. He gets a real Team Rocket blasting off again moment. Now, with no more interference, the battle can continue. Another moment I have to give major props to with Tien is letting Goku get his licks on him to even out the playing field again, acknowledging that he got a bit of extra edge because of Chaozu. He describes it as his debt being paid, so now he can fully fight for real. I really love that. I just think it's so cool for him to try and fix the combat balancing out there. Tien, locking back into the fight, uses his forearm technique. First off, gross. Second off, that's so cool. Goku is having a hard time keeping up with his attacks and even gets grabbed, but Goku isn't letting that slide and uses his tail to break out of his attacks. Goku even creates his own 8-arm technique to try and fight back. Look at how cute his little stubby arms are. I just can't get over it. But I have to remember this child is actually a killing machine. As we approach the conclusion of the battle, Tien still has one final trick up his sleeve, using a spirit cannon to completely eliminate the arena. No longer attempting to kill Goku, but only to make it so he falls out of the space. And eliminates the arena he did, as the spirit cannon completely removes it out of the way, leaving a giant hole where the arena once stood. Now, both fighters are in the air waiting to see who will land first, but considering Tien can fly, Goku has to act quickly to secure his win. In one final attempt, Goku uses the Kamehameha wave to knock into Tien, causing him to freefall. Both tired and worn from the battle before, they begin their descent to the bottom. I just want to gush about this one shot here as it's zooming through the horizon. Seeing all the different pieces of the environment moving as they're falling was just such eye candy. And right before both of our fighters hit the ground, Goku rams right into a truck, causing him to land onto the ground first, meaning that he has been eliminated from the tournament, making Tien Shenhan our winner. The crowd goes wild, and this is such an insane way to end it all. Everyone congratulates Tien on his victory, and Goku, while he lost, enjoyed his battle overall. Our story ends with Tien apologizing for his actions throughout the tournament, and he joins the group as they head out to a celebratory dinner. Overall, the World Martial Arts Tournament has showed me some new heights fighters can reach in the series. Even though Goku seems like the strongest, there's always someone out there who can raise the bar. So to see Goku lose and have something new to strive for was a pleasant conclusion. I'm so happy we get to see everyone enjoying their feast as we reach the end of the saga. Hey, where's Krillin? They killed my boy? No, no, no! When I tell you I was shook to my core when I saw this. Someone caught my man's lacking while he was dressed in his Sunday's best. I mean, I've always known Krillin to die in the series because of the memes and such, but this is the first actual death in the show for our heroes, and it was crazy. Immediately ending this incredibly tight saga with such a cliffhanger. Who is responsible for Krillin's death? Why would they do such a thing? For now though, we'll just have to wait and see. I hate sounding super corny when I say it, but the show really just keeps getting better and better. From a fighting tournament to a murder mystery, I'm here for all the twists and turns. I appreciate your patience for these videos. I'm excited to jump to the next saga and see how they plan to avenge my boy. Please.
A girl? Oh, so that's what you are.
Oh my gosh, are you saying you've never seen a girl before?
Nope. Besides my grandpa, you're the only human being that I've ever seen.
You're a very brave boy. I have a gift I want to give you as a token of my gratitude.
I am Yamcha. I am master of the land you trespass upon.
It's my land too! Master, my name's Krillin, and I've come all the way from a village in the east. Please allow me to be your humble student and learn to fight like you.
It's time you learned some lessons from the greatest scholar of all, life.
I'll bet you fancy yourself a trained fighter. Let's see if you can handle this.
I have to get that extra strength right now. I don't have much time. That you, Grandpa? Yes, it is you.
Deep second place in the last tournament, Goku's list of victories would leave even the most veteran fighter green with envy.
But don't place too much importance on this tournament. It is merely a checkpoint by which to evaluate your skill, not substantiate it. There is no greatest. Awarding a young man a title which declares him master of martial arts is very dangerous. It does nothing more than feed one's ego. So there's a whole new generation coming up that needs guidance, and frankly, I'm just too tired.
I'm ready.
I have finally completed my watch through of the original Dragon Ball. I've never had a form of media make me feel physically stronger, where any limits I had could be shattered with hard work and perseverance. I'm envious I didn't grow up with this. I would have been a better man. But better late than never, I always say. As today we're diving into the final sagas of Dragon Ball. After the last martial arts tournament, Krillin's lifeless body was found remaining at the arena. Goku, flustered with discovering the death of his best friend, rushes out into action. Who is responsible and heinous enough to do something like this? And will Goku be strong enough to defeat them? Find out right now as we enter the King Piccolo saga. But before we do that, please let me know in the comment section below. Do you have any other anime suggestions for me to take a look at? I know a lot of people want me to jump right into Dragon Ball Z, but it did take me over a year just to get through the original and get this series done. So let me know. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button as we finally face off against Dragon Ball's biggest challenge. Now, I've known about Piccolo in the same vein that most people knew about him. As a fellow member of the Z Fighters, the big green cucumber one, easily one of the most recognizable designs in history. I mean, this fit goes insane. So to see that in the original, that Piccolo was deemed this ancient and legendary evil, a man that was trapped away because he was too powerful to defeat under normal circumstances. I really like this little box that they end up trapping Piccolo inside of the flashbacks. I don't know, this is so cutely designed for it being a prison to hold such evil. What an adorable prop they decided to use. I was excited to see how he ends up making this transition to the side of good. The more I think about it, Steven Universe and Dragon Ball are basically the same thing. I'm not gonna elaborate, but if you know, you know. Anyway, now Piccolo is back after being found and released by the Pilaf gang. And now the king has two goals: collect the Dragon Balls and destroy all of the world's strongest martial artists. I do appreciate that they brought back the Pilaf gang in such a big way. Being the inciting incident that kicks off this whole saga into action is dope for such small characters. King Piccolo has this version of himself that he duplicated called Tambourine, and he sends out this version into the world to smoke all of the martial artists. First, the names of all of Piccolo's goons are also instrument related, which is pretty funny. Second, for a guy named Tambourine, this is one of the strongest characters in the show we've seen so far. Not only do we see him take down Krillin without breaking a sweat, but even when Goku finally catches up to Tambourine, it's not even close to an easy fight. In fact, Goku is getting decently freed up for a majority of the battle. I want to glaze the writing here for a little bit since they threw in the fact that Goku is exhausted from the tournament, so when he pulls up on Tambourine for the first time, little dude gets cooked instantly. It almost doesn't feel like the real Goku is in this fight, but you gotta remember what he just dealt with before coming here. After beating Goku, Tambourine just keeps it pushing and we get a montage of all of his kills. I love that all the characters are ones we've seen in previous episodes, whether as a one-off or as part of the tournament series. It was a great way to make the world of Dragon Ball feel more alive. Or dead in this case? After being beaten by Tambourine, Goku rests up a bit to regain his strength, finding a fish that was conveniently cooked on the side of the road, only to find that it belonged to a new character called Yajirobe. This thick samurai character with big hair is one of my favorite voices in the dub.
I don't recall inviting you to eat my breakfast.
He kinda sounds like Muscle Man from Regular Show.
So rocks! You know who else rocks this hard? My mom!
I think my favorite part about Yajirobe is that he knows exactly when to call it quits. Like, he's incredibly strong, able to handle a tussle with Goku, and gets kicked into a wall and gets right back up. But even after that, he's like, oh nah, I'm good, and I respect that so much. Another one of Piccolo's goons show up, this time being called Symbol, keeping the music theme going, and this guy is huge. With his mission being to collect the Dragon Balls, and look at that, Yajirobe has one right around his neck. If Symbol is anything like Tambourine, this fight is about to be crazy.
Wow, you're fast!
That's what I'm singing! Dude made this giant dragon look like mincemeat in no time flat. I dig that when Symbol dies, it cuts to Piccolo taking damage because one of his clones just died, showing that our seemingly invincible foe does seem to have a few weaknesses. Meanwhile, we cut to our B team as they're hiding from Piccolo's forces. Only this time, Tambourine has located them. Yamcha tried his best to hold back Tambourine, but it's not looking like it's doing any good. I also appreciate Launch emptying the entire clip on him even though he ate that. Fortunately, our heroes are saved by the bell after Tambourine is summoned away. Honestly, this is the best thing that could have happened to Yamcha. He was giving it his best, but he would have shared the same fate as the other martial artists. We've also got a dedicated C team with Tien and Roshi doing their own thing, running around the world trying to collect the remaining Dragon Balls before Piccolo. I do appreciate that we get some screen time for other characters outside of Goku, especially in the case of Tien, where we get to see him atone for his previous mistakes. Tien is one of my favorite characters, so I'm always a big fan of having more time with him. Cut back to Goku and he has finally located Tambourine. This time with a full night's rest and a full belly, he was not letting that last outcome repeat itself. And I want you to know this might be my favorite belt to ass moment in the show. Two big reasons. Number one, Goku says this.
This one's for Krillin.
With such a serious look in his eyes, then it immediately cuts to the title card reading Goku's Revenge. Brother man, your fate is sealed. You're about to get folded for the next 20 minutes.
Stop! He's already dead!
The artist for the character expressions went above and beyond. The pulsating eyes, the drool being knocked out of his mouth, all the ways they're changing the dimensions of this character's skull, all perfectly represented in how viewers wanted this fight to go. It's wonderful. Tambourine doesn't even hit Goku, and then Goku goes ahead and pops an emote on him. It doesn't even end there. Tambourine tries to fly away from the scene of the crime, only for Goku to chase him using the power pole and then reduce him to atoms. By every meaning of the word, Goku was not letting what happened to Krillin slide. Another loss for King Piccolo means another moment of indigestion for him, deciding that enough is enough and that he will hunt down Goku himself. I love when Piccolo pulls up on Goku and Yajirobe just ends up giving Goku the Dragon Ball to keep, since he wants none of that king smoke.
I lost my appetite. Bye!
But now, it's finally time, Goku versus King Piccolo. There's something real special that happens in Dragon Ball. Whenever one of Goku's opponents is completely underestimating him, then their entire demeanor shifts the moment they see how fast Goku is. It's literally every villain's version of this. That's when Piccolo does the old taking off my clothes is gonna make me stronger thing. He kicks Goku right in the chin with his Santa elf shoes. Then the fight just takes a turn for the worse. The remainder of the fight is Goku just trying to play keep away. Piccolo is clearly looking like the dominant fighter in this situation. In one last-ditch effort, Goku ends up sending a Kamehameha wave and Piccolo doesn't even flinch. My man takes it right to the chest and doesn't even feel a thing. Even crazier is that his clothes are completely fine. After we saw earlier in the series a wave completely tore off Tao's clothing, really makes you wonder who's Piccolo's tailor in this universe. Eventually, Piccolo sends out the final blast, leaving Goku completely unable to battle. With his victory, Piccolo steals the Dragon Ball and makes his way for the remainder. And Yajirobe ends up making his way back and grows fonder in my heart, assisting Goku with his battle wounds and getting him away from it all. Meanwhile, Tien and Roshi prepare for their clash with King Piccolo, as they have the remaining Dragon Balls he's seeking. I say Tien and Roshi, but it's actually just Roshi this time, as he knocks out Tien in order to keep him away from this dangerous battle. Which is definitely a bummer. I definitely wanted to see Tien face off against Piccolo. Roshi isn't really doing much better alone against Piccolo either. Dude is treating him like a ragdoll for the entire fight, but Roshi has a plan. Using the evil containment wave, he'll attempt to trap Piccolo back inside of the jar, sealing him away and preventing the world from falling into ruin. Roshi's able to capture Piccolo in the wave, looking like all of this is finally over. The jar is right there, everything is good to go.
I missed it!
This moment right here is so legendary to me, because even when the tensions are the highest, even when so many things hang in the balance for Roshi to get this right, the only thing that stopped him from succeeding was himself. Nothing tried to interfere, there was no other enemies around. Roshi had the entire half court to himself and then missed the damn basket. This right here is an Avengers level fumble. Even after using this move, Roshi dies immediately due to exhaustion. It's so over, fellas. Piccolo has collected all 7 Dragon Balls and is ready to grant his wish. I do appreciate Chaozu in this moment, who tries to pull a first season special on Piccolo by trying to overwrite the wish by saying it to the Eternal Dragon first, but Piccolo is not playing around and takes Chaozu off the map before he can even finish his sentence. I think that's what makes Piccolo's story arc so special, is that there's so many references to older episodes and methods that our heroes have used that have worked on other foes, being shown to be completely useless against this almighty powerful one. Piccolo is able to grant his wish and has made himself younger and more powerful. And to prevent anyone from using the Eternal Dragon again, Piccolo destroys it right after his wish. I didn't even know you could do something like that. My jaw was on the floor. It's honestly looking like it's over for the world now that Piccolo is powered up, but that's not stopping Goku, who's on his way to Korin Tower to train to become stronger again. I say Goku when it's actually Yajirobe doing all the work. Goku is basically conked out from the last battle, so Yajirobe is the one who carries him all the way to the top of Korin's tower, which in the lore of the show is not a small feat, it's a huge testament of strength. And he did all of this while carrying someone on his back, all for the potential that there's some delicious food waiting for him at the top. This might be one of the greatest characters in fiction, I'm not even gonna lie. While all of this is happening, we get the beginning of Piccolo's siege on the world, as we get an entire episode of him taking over Chao Castle. I really like how in these episodes we get a few look at the older characters. We get our old android friend and the little redhead girl to give us a frame of reference to how Piccolo's attacks are impacting everyone. Lots of callbacks that I'm a fan of. Next part I thought was a little weird though, as Goku wants to get stronger, so Korin mentions a new sacred water, completely different than the plain water that Goku drank earlier in the series, this time actually offering up magical properties that make the user stronger. Now, I think this feels weird because it kind of completely undermines the lesson of the old sacred water, where the old sacred water wasn't about the water itself, but the work Goku had to put in to obtain it. It was an item to achieve for Goku, but the real benefits came from the effort to get there. Now all of a sudden there's a real sacred water and it actually does make people stronger? We get these next few episodes where Goku and Yajirobe enter a pocket dimension to find it. After successfully collecting the water, Goku returns and is given a new flying Nimbus from Korin. And man, it was so nice to see this thing again after the last one got blown to smithereens. I like how the Nimbus are kind of treated like wild cattle and Goku just goes for it. When Goku leaves to search for Piccolo, we cut ahead to Tien, who is ready for his final battle, covered in the shame of losing his 2 friends and being completely KO'd to help out at all. Tien is ready to face Piccolo alone and put an end to his terror. He's also been practicing the evil containment waves to try and get the slip on him. But man, I don't know what they're doing to Tien this time around, but man, my man just keeps getting the short end of the stick. He finally pulls up on Piccolo, only for Piccolo to hit that fat clone jutsu and summon Drum. And Drum completely puts the beats on Tien. Sure, Tien gets his hit every now and then, but for the most part, Drum Drum is controlling the pace of this battle. In a final attempt to get Drum, Tien uses the evil containment wave on him, but Tien, lacking the spatial awareness, seems to completely forget that Piccolo is right there, and he completely shatters the jar before the wave can even work. All of my heroes are frauds, dude. Oh my god. Tien is exhausted from the evil containment wave and is down and out. Drum is ready to lay down that final hit and bring his life to an end. It's all over for Tien.
That grunt!
Oh my god, This pose, the way that Goku is shaded here, the look in his eyes, the look on Tien's face while he's in the same frame as Goku aura farming. Drum's like, yo, I got this, don't even worry about it. He's done in one hit! And then look at what Goku does. Everything about this lit my soul on fire. Even the look on Piccolo's face is putting the fear of God inside of my heart. At this point, I'm standing on my couch screaming at my TV. The first throw Goku does to Piccolo where it tosses him through the building, I think I basically started ascending right then and there. Goku attempts to hit Piccolo with another Kamehameha wave, and Piccolo is ready to block it again, only for Goku to change its direction mid-send, curving it behind him and striking him in the back.
Hey, I couldn't have hurt you that much. On your feet. I'm just getting warmed up.
If I was Piccolo, my road to redemption would have started right here. But he just gets angrier and decides to completely destroy the area around him. Although Goku is so much sneakier than that and gets away from the blast. Piccolo is absolutely fed up with this child, so he decides to be evil about it, grabbing Tien and using him as a human shield to get to Goku. Tien, please. I'm begging. Do something. After disabling Goku, Piccolo heads into the sky to finish off the job, diving down to put an end to Goku. But even when Goku is down and his body is broken, the spirit is still going. With his last bit of strength, Goku propels himself into the sky using a Kamehameha wave, and with that speed and that force punches a hole clean through King Piccolo's chest. Goku lets out a victory scream and one of the most deserved lines in the series.
I did it!
And just like that, the day is won. Goku has defeated Piccolo and everything can go back to the way it was. In one last-ditch effort, King Piccolo shoots out an egg before saying his last breath, as this new version of him will take on the mantle he's leaving behind. Our victory is assured, but it's only a temporary one, as a new threat grows in the shadows. And this has been the King Piccolo saga. I'm definitely a broken record when I say that this show just gets better and better, and it's kinda insane when I remember that this is just a prologue for the stuff to come. And I'm so excited I've taken this journey, and thank you for taking it with me. We've got one saga left of Dragon Ball. Will Goku be strong enough to defeat this new challenger? Or will they become best friends and learn how to drive cars or something?
Dodge, bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way!
After a long and challenging fight with King Piccolo, Goku emerged from the battle victorious, saving the world and all of its inhabitants. But before drawing his last breath, King Piccolo sent his offspring into the world. This is the final challenge of the original Dragon Ball, as we finally made it to the Piccolo Jr. saga, the final before we move into the next era. And there's so much about this final season that shows me how it transitions into modern Dragon Ball. The fights, the story arcs, and how our characters grow and change. And we're going to be diving into it right now. But before I do that, let me know in the comment section below. Is there anything you dislike about Dragon Ball? I know we've been fairly positive up to this point, but I would love to know what you think. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button, helps out the channel big time. It's time to bring this era of Dragon Ball to a close. In the aftermath of the battle with King Piccolo, Goku is gravely wounded, finding that the Eternal Dragon has been destroyed, making it impossible for Goku to wish back his fallen friends. To heal his wounds, he and Yajirobe head back to Korin's tower. Mind you, the rest of the world just find out King Piccolo is gone and they are turning up. Parties out in the streets, everybody is happy to be released from the rule of an evil man. It's one of the small things that shows us how Goku's actions is affecting the world around him. This small child brought so much cheer and safety to the world. It's legendary. After a few senzu beans, it's been revealed that all of those who were killed by Piccolo are unable to cross into the afterlife. So their lifeless spirits are floating in limbo for all eternity. Jesus Christ, that is depressing. But it turns out someone actually created the Dragon Balls. So Goku is tasked with searching for this person named Kami to bring back the Eternal Dragon. He rushes to grab his power pole and then takes to the sky. He plugged it into this little tiny hole that flies deep into the heavens. I love that Goku is aggressively being struck by lightning when he's on his way up there. The durability here is impressive to take shocks from actual Mother Nature. Making it through the clouds, we find this Sky Temple all the way up here. And I've seen this location so many times in Dragon Ball media. In fact, it's been one of my favorite playable stages in the video games. So to pull up here for the first time in context was a magical moment. Here is where we meet Mr. Popo. So, Mr. Popo is a character similar to Master Roshi, where I've heard about them before, and how they might have certain controversies with their decisions in the show, and I totally get that for Master Roshi, like he does some really freaky stuff. But Mr. Popo, it's just the way they designed him, clearly. They gave him the darkest shade of black you could possibly put to skin, and then they gave him these big giant red lips. Yeah, I can totally see how this character design might have gotten a few extra glances. Despite that though, Mr. Popo is incredible. His overall positive demeanor clashes with the fact that Goku actually cannot touch him. Popo is moving in a way that made every previous challenge of Goku's look trivial, actually just playing with this child while he's putting his best foot forward. Definitely one of my favorite additions for this arc, as Popo is preventing Goku from reaching Kami, who is watching the battle from a distance. After watching Goku struggle long enough, Kami emerges from inside of his temple, only for it to be revealed that this guy looks exactly like King Piccolo. Goku is really that guy, immediately springs into action just seeing that ugly mug on his face, and to immediately display his dominance, Kami hits Goku with one of these.
Give me back my friends!
Now, this is when we start hitting that really juicy lore. So it turns out Kami looks like Piccolo because Piccolo is the evil half he removed from himself. To become the guardian of the earth, he needed to expel his evil desires. And these evil desires personified and created King Piccolo. This is basically the same thing that happens with Ventus and Vanitas in Kingdom Hearts. Sorry, I've got Kingdom Hearts brain. I can't not mention it when it shows up. Anyway, now Kami has a deal for Goku. He can bring back the Eternal Dragon and use the Dragon Balls to bring back his friends. Only if Goku agrees to stay on the temple for 3 years to train. Kami lets Goku know that Piccolo Jr. is out there and getting stronger, and Goku needs to be the one to take him down, requiring relentless training. Goku agrees for two major reasons that I love so much. The first being to bring back all of his lost friends, obviously. But I also love that he mentions that he would have just stayed longer anyway just to get stronger. Like he was scrapping with Popo, and it put into frame of reference how much work he actually has to do. When the Eternal Dragon brings back the Dragon Balls, the scene where Bulma notices the colors returning back to them. No one exactly knows how this happened, but they spring into action and make the wish, bringing everyone back to life who was taken by King Piccolo, including Krillin. The montage of everyone being brought back from the Dragon Balls did make me a little emotional. So many callbacks to older episodes, I feel like this was such a powerful moment to get here. Although it brings me so much joy that the first thing the fellas do when they come back to life is ask about Goku and what he's doing, to find out that he's basically training with God, and then they immediately lock in. These are the kind of friends you need. The ones that make you want to be stronger off of their sheer existence. It does make me a little sad that Goku won't be able to see everyone he saved for 3 whole years, but it's a moment that pays off incredibly later. We do also get some time with Piccolo Jr. showing him training and getting stronger behind the scenes. I like how they know this little guy is out there running rampant and they just kind of let him rock. Like there's gonna be a lot of dead people before Goku even gets the chance to fight him himself. What I do appreciate is that these next few episodes are focused directly on Goku's training. There's one where he learns to move faster than lightning while holding a metal crown on his head. Then there's another where he time travels to the past to meet a young Master Roshi. Then there's another where he fights a doll version of himself and has to outsmart it in battle. All of these episodes culminate in Goku's skills improving directly. There's also episodes dedicated to the rest of our team, sharpening their abilities. It's a good back and forth to well-round our team in terms of screen time, but now it has finally happened. We got ourselves a 3-year time skip, showing us that the next martial arts tournament is about to begin. I think what's special about this is that this is our 3rd martial arts tournament in the series. They've really built it up as an event. The tournament almost feels like a character in itself. When that arena shows up on the screen, I know I'm in for some peak Dragon Ball, and this opening might be one of my favorites. As our main cast is slowly making their way to sign up for the bracket, Bulma and Master Roshi are the first of the bunch to appear as we wait for the rest. Then they show this little girl who loses her balloon for a little bit. Bulma tries to grab the balloon, but she's a little too short. Then a tall man with an umbrella appears and grabs the balloon. No one in the group realizes that this is Goku, but you can tell by the voice Frame 1. They all seriously cannot comprehend who this is because of how different he looks. Our boy is all grown up. Like look at him. The baby boy is a man now. I don't know, seeing Goku look more like he does now did make me a little emotional. Like, I didn't know the time skip happened in the original Dragon Ball. I thought that's something that happened in Z. So I knew I was approaching the beginning of the end when I saw this. It takes a bit of convincing on Goku's behalf to get everyone to understand that it was truly him. Bulma takes the longest, but notice it's him as he says something stupid about her lips bleeding. It was good to see these two on screen again after all this time. There's even a moment where Bulma is checking Goku out. Like, this man clearly had a glow up of the century to have her feeling this way. But that's not all. The fellas show up and they got that on. And man, the moment when Krillin finally finds Goku, and he's so grateful for bringing him back to life. Like, man, this is what this whole thing is about, man. I get choked up, let me tell you. To not see the homie who saved your life until 3 years after the fact is crazy, but it looks like the gang is all here. And we finally get a look at Piccolo Jr. before the matches begin, which is such an interesting scene because he actually saves someone's life. Debris is gonna fall on this family, but Jr. ends up blasting it out of the way before that can happen. And the family is shaken to their core, and there's Jr. just aura farming. He had no reason to do this, he just wanted to look hard, and I can appreciate that. Next day, the preliminaries are about to begin, and look at our boys. I don't know, there's just so many shots of them together, and it makes me so happy. They all have on their orange jumpsuits and are ready to give it their all. Goku feeling someone else pull up with the aura in the air and immediately saw him. Piccolo looking young, moisturized, and ready to throw some hands. It is time for the World Martial Arts Tournament to begin. I love this intro, man. So there's a lot of notable moments that happen in the prelims to set us up for the rest of the games, starting with the reintroduction to Chi-Chi, this time much older and with a lot more vengeance towards Goku for not remembering who she is. I love how Krillin is screaming at him like, you got this baddie like this screaming at you and you don't even know who she is? Goku is just so locked into the fight that it's crazy. Then they start him off against King Choppa, another regular in the martial arts tournament. So I kind of feel like for this king to be here is because he's laying up for something super disrespectful. The entire match, Goku doesn't even move. Choppa is shaking in his boots based off of Goku's energy.
Do you hear me, you coward?
Oh, this is a new kind of monster they have unleashed. On the other side of the ring, we get Chaozu in his first match, who gets completely creamed off screen in an instant, to one of the best surprises to come from the saga. Mercenary Tao is back, the same one that gave Goku one of the most brutal beatings in the series, and the one Goku literally blew to smithereens. This time he's returned with a new android body and with vengeance against the boys. I was so happy about this, let me tell you. It's just building the drama within every combatant so that the story isn't just Piccolo versus Goku. Obviously, that's the final battle, but there's so many juicy smaller fights that I'm ecstatic to see through. You even get to see Yajirobe in the prelims putting in some work, but he's participating under this mask to keep his identity a secret, and he's doing pretty good in these battles. Up until he faces this man here. Now this guy is Hero, and he doesn't look like any of the other fighters. And the way that he beats Yajirobe is just by smacking him with miscellaneous inputs, so much so that he advances to the top 8 of the tournament. And with the top 8 being decided, as per tradition, I'll be going match by match to give my thoughts. First being Tao versus Tien. I'm glad that this is the first fight because there's so much to unpack here. They've previously fought under the same house and Tien respected Tao immensely, but as Tien has turned a new leaf, he has left all of his previous crimes behind. So for Tao to basically come back and then call Tien a traitor and a fraud, this is the type of scalding tea that I've been waiting for. The whole start of the match, no one is moving as no one wants to reveal their openings first. Shen appears from the sidelines and uses his psychic abilities to get into Tien's head, and we even get some flashbacks of Tao putting the beats on Tien when he was younger. This is a little bit of extra content to make that fight so much sweeter. When Tao finally thinks he catches Tien lacking, he goes in for the first strike, only for Tien to read it and send that hit right back. And for the remainder of the fight is what I've wanted to see from Tien since the last tournament. He's showing such a layer of superiority over his opponent that he's making Tao look like light work. Every hit he's able to dodge and punish, keeping the momentum of the fight in his favor. He even pins him and tries to push him out of the arena. Like, this is so insanely disrespectful for him to do. And Tao, not trying to get completely dookied on, pulls out a weapon disqualifying him from the tournament. But he doesn't care, he just wants to put an end to Tien where he stands. But this is my guy, Tien!
I hope you didn't pay a lot for this toothpick.
His run of disrespect does not end there. As his last-ditch effort, he ends up sending a fully charged blast to Tien. But Tien, unshaken by this effort, simply screams with his whole chest and deters it. This man uses his voice to stop himself from being taken out. Look at the fear in Tao's eyes. I would be 6 continents over by now. Then Tien takes him out with a close combat jab and ends the match. I love the little detail of Shen carrying him outside of the arena but flying away. But man, this was such a valid moment for Tien, easily one of my favorite characters in the series. He faced against his longtime trauma and conquered it so decisively. What a wonderful match. Now, it's not explicitly told to us that this is Chi-Chi. You can kind of tell based on her design and how she's feeling about Goku, but the rest of the cast actually has no idea who this person is, and this has really pissed her off. Right out of the gate, her speed is insane and the hand-to-hand combat is just so intense. The whole time, Goku is trying to find out who this person is and why she's so mad. He's playing keep away when he's trying to fish out for new information. Chi-Chi eventually gets fed up and reveals to Goku that he agreed to marry her, and Goku just vanished off the face of the earth before he could see that through. So now she's here to beat him into submission, which honestly, I respect so much. If someone proposed to me and just disappeared into the wind, I would probably grow a vengeful heart too.
A bride? Roughly translated, it means your life is over!
This is an absolute insane thing to say, Krillin. Chi-Chi agrees to reveal her name only if Goku is able to defeat her. Now, this might be the most dangerous thing anyone could have ever said to Goku, because now he has more of a motive to put the beats on you.
In fact, at the pace you're fighting, you'd be lucky if you hit me once!
That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
Mind you, Chi-Chi gets up from this and reveals her identity, and Goku right then and there just decides to follow it through, and ends up proposing to Chi-Chi right there at the tournament. I think Goku is the only person in the universe that could put his girl's face through a brick wall. I never in a million years could have imagined how this was going to end up going, but here we are. Congratulations to the newlyweds. Now this one is really great considering the context surrounding it. Krillin is basically getting the run back with another version of Piccolo after the last one took him out, and he still has no idea who this is because Krillin actually never seen Piccolo before. Still, we get a lot of looks at Junior's kit within this intro fight of him. This whole start of the fight where Junior is just dodging around using his cape. Like, does this dude ever go on screen and not look cool 100% of the time? Krillin has two cool moments in this fight, but they are quickly undercut. There's a moment where he techs the hit and jumps off the wall back, but Junior counters it by sending him back into the air. Krillin, thinking this is a great chance for a Kamehameha wave, starts to charge, and it seems like he's gonna get him in this blast, only for Piccolo to turn it on him last second, slamming Krillin into the ground, cracking the arena, and shattering his dreams for the tournament altogether. It is an incredibly decisive victory for Piccolo, showing us just the beginning of his new strength. Rest up, Krillin. I'm sure you'll get him next time. Now, this guy Hero is sus from the very beginning. His entire demeanor comes off as a guy who does not know how to fight. And we've seen a little bit of his combat style being this incredibly goofy mix-up, but for this to work all the way to the top 8 of the martial arts tournament, where we have literal demons also participating, does this raise a lot of red flags? Even Goku's like, something's off about this guy right here. I'm having trouble following how something like this is even possible. Like, this has to be a joke character that the writers came up with or something.
What?
The entire aura of Hero has shifted from this goofball into someone who is fully capable. Not only capable, but is someone putting the beats on Yamcha. Yamcha even tries to bring back his ball technique, but nothing he's doing is working. Hero is just one step ahead every chance, defeating Yamcha with one smooth punch that causes him to tumble out of the arena. It is then revealed to us that Hero is not just some regular guy, but Kami participating in the tournament in some sort of human disguise. So Yamcha was basically fighting against God. Like, how is this fair in any way, shape, or form? Like, my man's got cooked by the Holy Spirit. No duh, he absolutely had no chance. Poor guy trains this hard to get smited. Absolutely insane. The original Goku vs. Tien is my favorite of the entire show. The scale, the writing, everything about those episodes is cemented in my brain as greatness. So to see this run back happen back on the grand stage was everything. And they knew they had to do it justice, and justice they did. The moment the match begins, these two are at each other's throats, fighting on the ground, leaping in the skies, keeping toe-to-toe, showing all their training in action. Also, Goku is flying? I'm not sure if this is because he just leaps so hard to keep him inside of the air, but this looks like he's just suspended here, keeping his height. I mention this because Goku has flown in other ways, like by using his flying Nimbus or his tail, but this might be the first time we've seen him ever fly just using his own body. That 3 years of training with Kami did wonders for him. In the middle of the fight, Goku wants to pause so he can take off his clothes, and it's revealed that Goku has been wearing weighted clothes the entire time. Tien is flabbergasted when he picks up Goku's t-shirt. Like, I've been scrapping with this man and he had all this extra weight on? I'm about to get folded. This moment led to my all-time favorite animated sequence in the show. Like, this is a moment that has stuck in my head even now as I'm writing this script. I've watched it over and over again because of how mesmerizing it is. Goku starts to warm up to continue the battle, and we get this sequence of him running around the arena.
Well, I'm all warmed up. Let's go.
Everything about it, from the pace, the movements of Goku, the music in the background, the way that you can hear the crowd slowly start to cheer more as Goku moves, the fear setting in Tien's face because he's literally gonna have to fight this monster. And even Tien mentions that Goku isn't a showboat, and this was definitely showboating. But knowing Goku, this is just his regular movement. His normal sequence of action is what others would call flexing. It's unbelievable every time I see it. My favorite few seconds for sure. Now, the battle continues and Goku just starts to get disrespectful. To show off his new speed, he ends up taking Tien's belt without him noticing, causing his pants to fall down in front of everyone. Like, did Goku really need to do his boy like this? Tien, fed up with the disrespect, duplicates himself into 4 versions, turning the battle into a jumping. Goku, not finding a moment to breathe, just has to keep running to keep himself safe, fleeing into the sky where Tien unleashed a barrage of blast, successfully landing on Goku, causing his damaged body to fall back into the arena. And Goku, being the absolute unit he is, gets up after getting sparked up like that. It kind of reminds me of his durability during his training with Kami. Tien tries to take a shot at Goku in the sky again, but Goku does something nutty and sends out a solar flare, one of Tien's traditional moves, and uses it against him, blinding all the clones on the field. The solar flare doesn't end up being Tien's downfall either, it's only just the beginning, as Goku acknowledges that Tien splitting up into 4 different versions limits the power of each version. So Goku does what Goku does best and cooks them in a jiffy. And he's so polite that he ends up stacking them on top of each other for a fast cleanup. And Goku is declared the winner. Goku got his run back with Tien and has emerged victorious in such a dominant way. Seeing him adapt the moves his friends use and use them against them was so sick. Tien puts up an entertaining rematch that I am going to remember forever. Now it is time for Ventus versus Vanitas. I mean, Hero versus Piccolo. Both halves of a whole fighting off against each other, with it being revealed that if one of them is destroyed, the other one will also die in the process. Kami is here to put an end to Piccolo, even if he put Goku through all of that training. And this man wastes no time. It's hilarious seeing this godly form do all these insane moves inside of this silly body. The move where he flicks the arena and Junior goes flying is hilarious and iconic. This is also one of the most explosive battles. Like, these two are giving it their all. And all the property damage in the area is the blunt of it. I also like how they have a moment in the middle of the fight where they're talking telepathically. Everyone watching the match is like, what the hell is going on? With Kami revealing his true plan to seal Piccolo Jr. inside of the jar using the evil containment wave, saving his own life while removing Junior from the picture. But to the surprise of everyone, Junior has prepared for this moment and has learned to reverse it, sending the containment wave back towards Kami and sealing him inside of the jar instead, removing Kami's spirit from the human body, leaving him there bewildered and confused. Junior now has captured Kami, setting the stakes for the final battle even higher than before. Everything about this tournament arc is fantastic. There is not a second they miss on the plot. Every scene is just pushing to the next one to feel grander than the one before. And with the fate of a literal god in the balance, Goku really needs to lock in for his final battle. This fight lasts for 6 episodes. They knew they had to give it the time to flesh it all out. The pace in which the fight begins has the entire arena's jaw on the floor. The speed and the power in which they're throwing blows is frightening. There's the part where Junior rains down blasts from the sky, and Goku shatters his back while getting blown back the very next second. It's brutal as the smoke from the blast engulfs his entire body. But Goku, being someone who can get hit by the actual sun, is able to get up and just start smiling like that hit just tickled him. Another all-timer moment for me is just during this fight, Goku doesn't want to hit Junior with the Kamehameha wave because it would also take out Kami. But then Krillin on the sidelines with the logic being like, yo, go get him, big bro. We got the Dragon Balls. If you kill him, we could just wish him back. And with just that amount of logic, Goku is ready to smear Junior into the streets. Both of our combatants send a powerful blast to one another. And this gave me those moments when you're playing the old PS2 games. We had to rotate the analog stick to beat the other blast. I know so many controllers died in this process, rest in peace. Although the blast only makes it so Junior's full identity is revealed to the crowd. And they see that King Piccolo has returned and is ready to rule over them again. And the crowd had an appropriate reaction of getting the hell out of there. Honestly, I would have left the moment I saw someone blow up a mountain, but you know, hey, that's just me. Everyone is gone from the arena except for our heroes and the commentator, who by the way is totally dedicated to his craft to stay here. That is someone who is in it for the love of the game for sure. The match continues and Junior is fed up with Goku's actions. as he decides to power up and grow to the size of a mini Godzilla. Goku has moments where he gets a few hits in, but Junior is just way too powerful. This is when he has the idea to be eaten by Junior, using the Kamehameha wave to propel himself inside of his mouth. Then Goku starts beating up his guts the way Taco Bell be beating up mine, and in this process able to remove the Kami jar that Piccolo ate earlier in the show. Kami is freed and the battle with Goku and Piccolo continue. And it looks like Junior has the lead again, but Kami interrupts to protect Goku. And Goku is like, "You're not gonna make me look weak, stupid. Get your godliness over there and get out of the way." Goku still has a tournament to win in his mind, even when there's barely an arena to fight in. I love this about this moment where he wants to win fair and square. Goku even gives Junior a free hit so he can start again on even terms, which sends Goku clean through the remains of the arena. And Goku made sure he was getting that back in blood. Junior sends out a blast to track Goku around the arena, and Goku just dips all over the place, causing it to return back to the center. And the look on Piccolo's face is so insanely priceless. And how disrespectful Goku has to be to get this close to his face. That's actually my idol right there. The blast causes Junior's arm to not work anymore, so he just rips the entire thing off and grows a new one? Like, everything these two do to each other is just to one-up the other. And now Junior, pulling out King Piccolo, decides to send out a big blast to take out everything. The radius of this blast is so far that the arena doesn't even exist anymore. In fact, any wildlife nearby this thing probably perished in an instant. It gets so crazy that Tien has to make a hole in the ground to protect everyone from oblivion, but Piccolo has learned nothing about Goku, seeing as Goku is right there standing after the blast. I think these big explosive blasts just make Goku angrier and more disrespectful. He starts to beat the brakes off of Junior, blasting him into the ground with everything he's got. And even when Junior looks down and out, he sends one final blast outside of his mouth, piercing Goku, drastically weakening him in the process. And I mean, damn, that beam literally went right through his chest. It even gets to a point where the boys decide to jump in, but Piccolo swats them away. And even then, with a giant gash in his chest, Goku continues to fight. These next few bits are rough to watch because it's just Junior being awful. He's putting more holes inside of Goku, and the screams that are coming out of Goku are just crazy. All of his friends are standing there forced to watch him die, basically. Piccolo soars into the sky like he did during their first encounter, and this time sending down a powerful blast to finish the job. Once again, looking like it's all over. The dust cloud settles, and there's no Goku to be found. But this slippery fellow always finds a way. Krillin peeps Goku falling from the heavens, basically doing Luigi's side B from Super Smash Bros., diving headfirst into Piccolo with all of his strength, sending Junior out of the arena, knocking him out, and declaring Goku the winner of the martial arts tournament. Even though repairs on everything for this arena is probably going to take years. Goku is given a Senzu bean from his friends, but he takes it a step further, as Goku decides to give Junior a bean as well, healing him from all of his damages. Goku wants to keep him alive so he has someone strong to fight with. And Piccolo's like, "You're an insane person," and basically leaves. Goku now comfortably knows that he can beat Piccolo, so he doesn't really see him as a threat anymore. But that's where our saga comes to a close. After the tournament, we get a few episodes dedicated to Chi-Chi and Goku planning their wedding, from protecting the Ox King to finding the right dress, and all the other wedding related things. It's a fun palate cleanser after the intense martial arts tournament we just went through, and the series ends with an episode titled The End, The Beginning, giving us Goku and Chi-Chi's wedding. And fortune teller Baba gives us a small look at the future.
For the further adventures of Goku and his friends, be sure to watch Dragon Ball Z.
I really like how they have a plug for their future show in the ending of this one. It's sweet and fourth wall breaking enough to appreciate. But this is it. I've watched and created videos for the entirety of the original Dragon Ball. This series has been such a fun and refreshing experience. I know people have been worried about the views being down for these videos, which is nice that people were concerned, but the truth of the matter is, these videos have been the most fun to make because of how interactive you guys are. These videos have been the most pleasant and supportive comment sections I've had in such a long time. The views were low, but the heart was there, making it easy to keep pushing and making more. Thank you all so much for joining me on this grand adventure and accepting me into the world of Dragon Ball, and I'm so excited to jump into the next era of Dragon Ball, especially after everything I have experienced here. But for now, we're gonna take a breather and relax. I think I'll spend some time in Kame House, and I'll let you know when I'm ready to start yapping about some more. Next time on Skyward Show. Thank you so much for watching.